Pokémon. Starting with Greninja. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126. Deserving a beating but invincible. The cunning Tengu was furious. He had never met such a mean opponent since he was born. This frog deserves a beating. Cha! Don't let me catch you, bastard! With a roar, the cunning Tengu rushed forward. He waved his arms vigorously. Although his hands were dry like branches, they were full of strength. He condensed energy balls one after another with his hands, and the cunning Tengu smashed them at Greninja. I can't stand it anymore. This bastard deserves a beating. Relying on its speed advantage, Greninja dodged the attacks of the cunning Tengu again, and responded with a grimace from time to time, as if to say, "That's it." Zumu looked at Greninja's extreme operation and took a breath. Unexpectedly, this is the true attribute of Greninja. It turns out that he was suppressing himself before. Sure enough, this elf from his cheap father cannot be underestimated. In Zumu's own elf team full of weird atmosphere, Greninja, as the big brother, is obviously the strongest. But in some aspects, Greninja's personality problem is also second to none. It was just a little bit second year before, but Zumu said he could accept it. But now, what the hell is this extremely mean operation? Is this still the Greninja I know? Cool. As if it heard Zumu's voice, Greninja turned around after the battle and looked at Zumu indifferently. Little master, you are not mistaken. I have been mean since I was a child. Zumu burst into tears directly. Good guy. I have been mean since I was a child. How can you be so good? Blue Frog. Lee Kanai saw that his cunning Tengu had been completely led by Greninja, frowned for a long time, and then slowly spoke. He is a trainer, and it is absolutely unacceptable to watch his Pokémon being led off the rhythm. Cunning Tengu, let's use tricks. Using the transformation skill to stabilize the rhythm again is one of the common methods used by trainers. Cunning Tengu heard the order and realized his mistake. He quickly calmed down and smiled evilly at Greninja. Tricks. Seeing this, Greninja threw out a foam mousse without Zumu's command. Cool, you were laughing at your sister. Don't you know that you look ugly when you laugh? Fuck, who told you to laugh? Take back this ugly smile. Greninja roared loudly, and while throwing out the mousse with one hand, he actually covered his eyes with the other hand. This action, which was not very harmful but very insulting, angered the cunning Tengu, who was about to stabilize his position again. Just like when he was angry at Scarface Trizard, the social frog's insulting quotes are always so unexpected. Cha! I'm going to kill you, bastard! Cunning Tengu used another chlorophyte storm. This time, he concentrated all his anger. A large amount of grass-type energy in his body was vented out. Cunning Tengu had the idea of a fatal blow, and was ready to kill Greninja instantly and shut up this annoying blue-skinned frog. However, facing this extremely powerful grass-type ultimate move, Greninja neither dodged nor evaded. Standing in place, allowing chlorophyte storm to hit him, Greninja snorted coldly. Cool, that's it. It's not as comfortable as the sand-raising blows of Geodude on the roadside. Upon hearing this, cunning Tengu was so angry that his forehead was on fire, and he almost turned into a fire-type Pokémon. And Lee Kanai just remembered that because cunning Tengu had just used chlorophyte storm once, although this skill has extremely high damage, it has an obvious side effect. That is, it will greatly reduce the user's special attack. This is why Greninja is almost unscathed, and because of anger, cunning Tengu used chlorophyte storm twice in a row, plus the dozen or so energy balls just now. Now cunning Tengu is probably completely out of his body, and there is very little grass-type energy left in his body. If he continues to fight like this, he will definitely lose. Of course, Lee Kanai is not someone who can't afford to lose. However, what he can't accept is that Zumu almost didn't command the whole time. Relying on itself, Greninja pushed cunning Tengu to this extent. How could Lee Kanai endure this almost humiliating battle? Cunning Tengu, that's enough. We should get serious. With a roar, Lee Kanai was ready to get serious. After all, he was a gym trainer and had lived for more than 50 years. It would be unreasonable to admit defeat so easily. However, he wanted to be serious, Would Greninja agree? I gave you the opportunity to attack and vent just now, but I was just teasing you. Since you're ready to get serious now, I'm sorry, you don't have a chance to get serious. Almost at the moment when Lee Kanai finished the last sentence, Greninja moved. After leaving a residual image in place, Greninja moved at high speed and came directly in front of Cunning Tengu, without half a second of hesitation. When Cunning Tengu had no time to react, Greninja directly hit with a close-range freezing ray. Cunning Tengu lost his ability to fight. Lee Kanai was completely dumbfounded. How could Zumyu be so strong? Besides being able to stir up trouble, how could this kid have such a strong Pokémon? The main reason was that he didn't think about it. Zumyu was so good at courting death, but he never died. How could an ordinary rookie trainer do that, beating several gym trainers to autism? Could Zumyu really be a person who was seeking fame, without any real skills? How could Zumyu have such a great reputation? Is it really because he is Shirona's boyfriend, or that he is Kyle's son-in-law? That's pure fart. If you don't have the strength, ask Kyle if he can recognize Zumyu as a good son-in-law. The final battle, please, coconut tree. As Lee Kanai's voice fell, a strange coconut tree with a long neck appeared in the battlefield. Obviously this is not an ordinary coconut tree. This is a dragon coconut tree from the Alola region. It was also the first time that Zumyu saw a living Alola coconut tree. While taking back the Greninja, he was also looking at his opponent carefully. Wow, this long neck, the legs are really all below the neck. Seeing the coconut tree grinning at him, Zumyu scratched his head a little embarrassedly. I'm sorry, silly thing. It's all your bad luck that you're the third one to appear. I hope that the academic dragon will be gentler later. With a long sigh, Zumyu released Dragonite. Dragonite is the most violent academic dragon in Zumyu's team. When encountering it, the coconut tree can only say that its luck is too bad. Huh? Why is this guy's neck so long? Oh my god, is this the coconut tree in the Alola region? Chapter 127. The coconut tree does not cry. Dragonite was shocked to see this rare creature in front of him, like a cat that has encountered a fish, looking at the coconut tree madly and obsessively, pushing the glasses that didn't exist on his nose. Dragonite looked up and down at the three big heads of the coconut tree. It seemed that he was thinking, why does this guy have three heads? Are his three heads really independent in thought and have their own abacus? The strong desire for knowledge almost made Dragonite forget that this is a competition venue. Fortunately, this guy is just an elf. If he were an elf scholar, he would probably rush up to measure the body data of the coconut tree like DAMU. Dragonite, this guy has the attribute of a dragon. Just use the reverse scale in a while. Let's put it aside for the rampage. Otherwise, it's too heavy. I'm afraid this coconut tree can't stand it. Zumyu was also worried that Dragonite would be too heavy, so he quickly persuaded him. Although his voice was not loud, Lee Kanai on the opposite side just happened to hear it clearly. Good guy, I'm just a good guy. Are young people nowadays so arrogant? What kind of tradition is it to ask the elves to be gentler when there is a disagreement? Subconsciously, Lee Kanai wanted to express his disdain for Zumyu's proactive way of letting him win. However, the next second, Lee Kanai thought that Zumyu had already won 2 games in a row. If he lost again, it would be really embarrassing. Forget it. Since you said to be gentle, then be gentle. Winning is better than losing, right? Simply, Lee Kanai's old face was straight, pretending that he was hard of hearing, and directly commanded the battle. Coconut egg tree. Seed bomb. Even if the opponent was this seemingly gentle and seemingly weak Dragonite, Lee Kanai still did not dare to be careless. The lesson of 2-0 was still vivid in his mind. Now Lee Kanai had been forced into a desperate situation by Zumyu, and he could not be careless anymore. Therefore, Lee Kanai chose the seed bomb trick. He decided to use the coconut egg tree's best skill to test the strengths and weaknesses of Dragonite. Dragonite, dodge quickly, and use the reverse scale directly after getting close. The opponent attacked first. Zumyu naturally would not watch, and quickly opened his mouth to give orders to counter the opponent. You want to know my strengths and weaknesses, so I will test your depth. We are all adults, why do you have nothing to do? However, just when Zumyu was arrogant, Dragonite saw that the coconut tree actually took the initiative to attack him, and the dragon energy in his blood was unconsciously stimulated. Great. The coconut tree, a lower-level dragon, actually dared to provoke the quasi-god Dragonite. Are you tired of living, little coconut tree? The energy of the bloodline made Dragonite go crazy directly. After receiving Zumu's instructions, he executed them meticulously. However, after he used the reverse scale, he habitually added a runaway plus reverse scale. This is the battle rhythm of Dragonite. As a schoolmaster dragon, what can he do when the opponent uses violence first? He can only fight violence with violence. Anyway, in the fight, Dragonite has almost never been afraid because of Greninja's guidance, and he doesn't even know how to write the word fear. However, Greninja's guidance alone is not enough for Dragonite to use the combination of reverse scale and rampage, which is not a B-face. It is mainly because of Charizard, a brave guy, whose thoughts have the greatest impact on the worldview of Dragonite. A good student. Fighting means going all out. This is the life warning that Charizard has told Dragonite, his good brother, countless times. So, with the indirect help of these two L's and the promotion of the dragon energy in his body, Dragonite actually went all out and instantly turned into Hulk. Boom, bang, bang, duang. A series of blows sounded, and before Lee Kanai could react, he found that his coconut tree had been pressed to the ground and beaten violently by Dragonite. Without a chance to breathe, the three heads of the coconut tree screamed in unison. The scene was so cruel that Zumu could not bear to close his eyes. How come Dragonite is so violent when it comes to fighting? On the other side, Lee Kanai was completely dumbfounded. He looked at Zumu and Dragonite in surprise and could not say a word. After swallowing his saliva, Lee Kanai took back the coconut tree. I don't want to play anymore. I admit defeat. Hurry up, little ancestor. Take the badge and leave quickly. Go to the next gym to cause trouble. Our Kanai gym is small and can't accommodate a big Buddha like you. If the rule breaks twice again, Lee Kanai is worried that if he sells it to his current self, it is still unclear whether he can repair the gym. It's not that repairing a roof is expensive, but mainly because the roof of the Kanai gym uses a brand new high-tech solar power panel. The power supply of the entire Kanai gym depends entirely on photosynthesis from this roof. This is also the reason why Lee Kanai can create his own gym, a brand new high-tech technology, plus his own strength, and the desire for inheritance. Therefore, the design of the roof is the lifeblood of the Kanai gym. There is nothing wrong with this statement. However, he never dreamed that Zumu came to fight in a gym, and his lifeblood was actually hit with 2 holes. Brothers, those who understand understand. This is too unreasonable. Zumu, you won. The Kanai badge is yours. After Lee Kanai took back the coconut tree, he took the initiative to speak. After Zumu took the badge, Lee Kanai suddenly asked, "Where are you going to the next gym?" Zumu didn't know what the old guy meant, and subconsciously answered, "Winter City." The Snow Mountain Gym in Winter City? After a pause, Lee Kanai smiled and said, "Then I wish you a safe journey, and try to collect all 16 badges as soon as possible." After Zumu took the badge and put it away, he said politely, "Thank you, Gym Master Lee. Thank you for your guidance in this game." Without paying attention to Lee Kanai's expression of eating shit, Zumu finished speaking and prepared to leave. However, Lee Kanai's defense was finally broken. "What do you mean I should instruct you? Have I instructed you? Didn't you wipe me out?" Lee Kanai was full of doubts, but Zumu actually praised him against his conscience. At the same time, Lee Kanai was not a stingy person. Although he was successfully broken by Zumu's classmate, this did not prevent him from revealing to the group of gym trainers that Zumu's next target was the Snow Mountain Gym in Winter City. "It is better to let my friend die than to let me die. Zumu's matter has come to an end in our Kanai gym. Who will be the next unlucky gym owner, and who will face Zumu's next bad luck? Everything depends on how the Snow Mountain Gym owner handles it." Chapter 128, The Stranger Girl's Boudoir. Ding. The host has triggered a special task. Please go to the master bedroom of the Snow Mountain Gym to sign in. Reward, unknown. Host, please complete it as soon as possible. Remaining time, 72 hours. As soon as Zumu arrived in Xukeng, he received a reminder from the dog system. He was stunned at the time. I don't seem to know the gym trainer of the Snow Mountain Gym. What does it mean? You asked me to go to someone's boudoir directly? This seems inappropriate, right? I haven't even met you, but you just do this. Do you think that I, the host, live too easily? Want to find some excitement in my dull life? Xukang is a city in the north of the east. Because the city is cold all year round, it has become the best living environment for ice elves. Near Xukang, there is an extremely cold secret realm, where most of the people living are ice elves. The reason why the Snow Mountain Gym was built here is mainly due to environmental factors. The Snow Mountain Gym is a relatively new gym established 5 years ago. The gym trainer Xukang is known as the most beautiful ice trainer. My goodness. Looking at the gym introduction on the phone, Xumyu felt a little unnatural. Ahem, I have Shirona, dog system, don't make trouble, okay? With a dry cough, Xumyu said that he was a man in love, and he would never do such a thing as having one's cake and eating it in the bowl. Unfortunately, everything cannot escape the law of true fragrance. The host can choose not to go, but just miss an opportunity to become stronger. The system made a sound again, and it was a rare reminder full of kindness. When Xumyu heard this reminder, he was stunned for a moment. Do you think I would believe it? From beginning to end, how many tasks did I take the initiative to complete? The inexplicable appearance of the Flame Emperor, the Lugia who came to cause trouble with a fishing rod, and the people you arranged. I have always been passive. Ridiculous? Ridiculous. Now you, a dog, actually want me to go to a strange woman's boudoir. Good guy, don't send me tasks, just take me there directly, okay? Just tell me generously that this is my second room. I have to accept it, okay? What's the point of this hypocritical set? Xumyu pouted and said that the dog system was bored. No matter how hard he tried, he would never betray Shirona. Dog system, you'd better give up this idea. After a battle of wits and courage with the dog system in his heart, Xumyu still couldn't bear to give up the Snow Mountain Gym. After all, time was tight. After the Rookie King League in the northern 5 provinces, he really didn't have much time to waste. Anyway, as long as you stick to your original intention, what does it matter if the dog system is mean to me? If I don't take the initiative, can this strange girl still force me? Thinking in his heart, Xumyu took a taxi directly and swaggered to the Snow Mountain Gym. Standing at the cold door of the gym, Xumyu was wearing a thin coat. I don't know whether it was the fear of this beautiful ice trainer or the cold environment. Xumyu's body trembled unconsciously. Fuck, it's no big deal, I'll just go in and have a gym match. I won't do anything else. Xumyu kept admonishing himself and pushed open the gym's door. Xumyu is here. Xumyu, why did that little ancestor come to us? Quickly notify the gym leader. Xumyu is here. Protect our gym leader. The enemy has invaded the wild area. Protect our gym leader. The moment they saw Xumyu, the disciples in the gym panicked. Nonsense. How could they not panic? The king of destruction Xumyu. This is a man who can stop a child from crying in the middle of the night. Wherever he goes, he will cause unspeakable damage to the local area. His level of terror is comparable to that of the disaster beast Absol. Seeing these disciples scatter like birds and beasts, Xumyu sneered. They are all younger brothers. Haven't you seen a handsome guy? You look so useless. Tut tut tut. Not bothering to pay attention to these nameless extras, Xumyu walked into the gym calmly. I want to challenge the gym trainer. Is there anyone who accepts the challenge? Coming to the battlefield, Xumyu looked down on everyone. It's over. This guy is really here to mess with our gym. Why don't we go? Xumyu is here. Our gym is going to be gone. Damn it. If I'm not strong enough, I would never let this guy be so arrogant. Nonsense. If I had the strength, I would deal with this bastard on behalf of the gym owner. A group of disciples started gossiping, and Xumyu said that he just wanted to laugh after listening to them. We are not on the same level. What are you yelling at me? If you have the ability, come down and compete. If you don't have the ability, just hide quietly. Haha, little guy, you really came, just when everyone was talking about it but didn't dare to confront Xumyu head on. A charming voice suddenly appeared. Looking in the direction of the voice, Xumyu saw a tall beauty standing on tiptoe with a charming smile on her face. Xumyu looked at it and suddenly became fascinated. Damn it, Photos are all deceiving. This beauty is not the same as the photo. Obviously, she is 10,000 times more beautiful in person than in the photo, right? What the hell? The most beautiful trainer of the ice type. Bullshit. This is definitely the most beautiful trainer of all types. Zumiu swore that he had never seen such a beautiful woman since he was a child. Even in his previous life, when there were many stars and cosmetics were popular, he had never seen such a high-end beauty. Is this still a human? You, who are you? Completely ignoring the fact that the other party called him a little guy, Zumiu only felt that his mouth was dry and his tongue was dry. And for a while he couldn't even speak completely. This is really not Zumiu's lack of ambition. This is just the basic reaction of an LSP after seeing a beautiful woman. Let alone Zumiu. At this moment, all the male disciples in the gym were the same, with red faces and lowered heads, not daring to look at the gym trainer Zukinking. Who am I? Okay, you're here now, and you still have the nerve to ask me who I am? Okay, you don't even know me. You must be too proud. Zukinking put her hands on her hips, and for some reason she got angry. Zumiu was stunned by her roar. I just asked subconsciously. Do you really need to? I know, your name is Zukinking, right? Zumiu whispered in his heart, but he remained calm on the surface, trying to calm himself down. Getting excited when seeing a beautiful woman is not what a qualified child of destiny should have. Let's have a gym battle first. I'm Zumiu from Fengcheng. Zumiu forced a stern face and spoke. Unexpectedly, Zukinking just sneered when she heard it, and then walked straight towards Zumiu. Zukinking is very tall, nearly 1.75 meters tall, only 5 centimeters shorter than Zumiu. Standing in front of Zumiu, Zukinking stepped on high heels, looked at Zumiu at eye level, suddenly reached out and grabbed Zumiu's ear, and then clamped it with her arm. Come on, still want to have a gym battle? Let me let you know who I am first. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129. All couples in the world are siblings. After saying that, Zukinking held Zumiu and left the battlefield directly. In full view of the crowd, Zumiu was brought to his bedroom. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the task and successfully signing in at the gym trainer's bedroom of the Snow Mountain Gym. Reward the host for obtaining the power of superpowers, the power of superpowers, the power of Changpan, and the power of waves. These 3 magical abilities are superpowers that run through the entire elf world. To obtain one of them is already beyond ordinary people, and Zumiu was so powerful before, and now that he has obtained the power of superpowers, isn't it taking off on the spot? The moment he got the reward, Zumiu was stunned. Is this Zukinking also a shill hired by the system? Want to be powerful, so deliberately arrange a bureau to give yourself special abilities? Not really, the dog system is so generous. Zumiu said it is difficult to bear. At the moment, Zumiu no longer cares about the joy of obtaining special abilities. Zukinking has taken him to the corner of the bedroom. What are you going to do, little bastard? You ask me what I'm going to do. Guess, Zukinking said playfully. Her words were less angry than before, and more charming. How could Zumiu bear this? What ethics and morals? Get out of the way, I can't stand it. Is the life of a chick going to end a day? Thinking that he had received a hint from Zukinking, Zumiu said nothing and prepared to take the initiative. Life is like that, if you can't resist, you can only enjoy it. Since Zukinking has taken the initiative, how can Zumiu be a coward? Just do it, come on, Shirona. I'll explain it later. As if a prehistoric beast had awakened in his body, Zumiu pressed Zukinking to the ground with his backhand, and was ready to. What are you doing? Zukinking exclaimed, and the pupils of his eyes dilated instantly. Hearing this, Zumiu also smiled evilly. You asked me what I was going to do. Guess what? Didn't you lead me into your room? Zukinking was completely dumbfounded. Good boy. This little bastard is really good at learning and applying what he has learned. Pushing Zumiu's big head away, Zukinking struggled to get up, Realizing that Zukinking was not half-hearted, Zumiu was a little confused. What's the situation? Didn't you take the initiative? How come I agreed and you backed off? With a dry cough, Zumiu didn't know what to say. He looked at Zukinking in confusion, not knowing what this woman was up to. She was so proactive and teased him just now, but now she is struggling desperately. What, asshole, what are you thinking about? Zukinking slapped Zumiu's forehead angrily and hurriedly tidied her clothes. Seeing Zumiu standing there stupidly, Zukinking turned around and took out a photo from her bedside table. The waves in her chest were still rising and falling. Obviously, Zukinking was also shocked by Zumiu's sudden reversal of the host. Taking the photo, Zumiu looked down. He understood instantly. He understood everything. The photo was a photo of Zukinking and Zumiu's cheap dad. The two hugged each other intimately, laughing happily. Are you my stepmother? Why didn't you tell me earlier? I wouldn't have done it if you told me earlier. Oh, blame me, stepmother. I'm sorry, I thought it wrong. Zumiu was a good boy. He apologized when he knew he was wrong. With his head down, Zumiu admitted his mistake. However, it would have been better if he hadn't said this. As soon as he finished speaking, Zukinking became even more angry. She grabbed Zumiu's ears and pulled his head towards the photo. Look carefully. Look at my nose. And your father's nose. I'm your aunt, okay? Asshole. You call me stepmother so smoothly. Look, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your father. As she said that, Zukinking clamped Zumiu's neck again and pressed him against her turbulent breasts. Her original intention was to use this lock technique to control Zumiu, but because her figure was too plump, this move changed from a lock technique to a covering technique, as if to smother Zumiu directly to death. Her waves surged up. Woo woo woo, auntie. Zumiu was smothered and speechless. Although he enjoyed it, Zumiu said that he was also very uncomfortable. Dear aunt, bastard, why is this my dear aunt? I wish all couples in the world are brothers and sisters. Such a beautiful big beauty is actually my dear aunt. God is jealous of talents. Zumiu wanted to cry but had no tears. He had already prepared himself mentally, although he was sorry that he couldn't give Chirona the first time. Such a beautiful woman was so proactive. Zumiu thought it would be unreasonable for him to refuse. Unexpectedly, Zumiu, who was just about to accept the baptism of life, received a piece of news that made him completely desperate. The big beautiful woman in front of him turned out to be his aunt. What are you mumbling about? Do you have something to say? Keep it to yourself, you little bastard. You actually want to do something bad to your aunt. I'll suffocate you to death. Zukinking is a woman with a big nerve and a lively personality. Of course, this is only in front of her family. Outside, she is still the icy-faced ice-type beauty and the trainer of the Snow Mountain Gym. I was wrong. Zumiu was almost crying because of his hand. This pair of peerless breasts is too terrifying. If this woman is not his aunt, Zumiu is worried that he will not be able to control himself and go up to bite it. Do you know you are wrong? Patting Zumiu's head, Zukinking didn't have the heart to hurt Zumiu. This is her own nephew. After letting Zumiu go, Zukinking rolled her eyes and said, "Good boy. You really don't know me?" Zumiu pouted aggrievedly. I really didn't know I had an aunt. Growing up, I didn't have grandparents, nor did I have grandparents, let alone relatives other than my parents. As for my biological father, I've only seen him a handful of times. Zumiu's words made Zukinking fall into silence. It seems to be true. For so many years, my sister-in-law has been taking care of Zumiu alone. Because of some things that happened back then, my father has always disagreed with me visiting him. It is normal that Zumiu doesn't know me. Okay, even if you don't know me as your aunt, I can forgive you. Then you just... Before the question was finished, Zukinking's face turned red first. If it weren't for her quick reaction just now, she would have been kissed by Zumiu, the little bastard. Forget it. You just arrived in Xuking. Let's go. Aunt will take you to dinner, and then go to the secret realm at night. The scenery there is very beautiful. Zukinking was also carefree. As soon as she turned her head, she forgot what had just happened, and still looked at Zumiu with a doting face. Being pressed down by her own nephew shouldn't be a shameful thing, right? Well, it shouldn't be. Chapter 130, Secret Realm of Ice. Your emperor is back. To be honest, Zukinkin really didn't know that Zumu had a secret realm destruction buff. If she knew about Zumu's past, she would never say to take Zumu to the secret realm. After enjoying a delicious meal in Zukinkin also learned from Zumu about his experiences over the years. This also included the relationship between Zumu and Shirona, as well as Kyle and Zhaoyang. After hearing that Zumu was surrounded and killed by strong men several times, Zukinkin was so angry that she almost flipped the table directly. What a bunch of rubbish! How dare they surround and kill my nephew? Are you tired of living? Question mark. They can't move anyone from my Zu family. I'm so angry. These bastards deserve to die. If your grandfather was still alive, how dare these guys be so presumptuous? Zukinkin's face was full of indignation. She really didn't expect that Zumu had lived such a hard life over the years. She also didn't expect that her sister-in-law would give up everything and become an ordinary woman, living with Zumu in that small place of Fengcheng. We thought your family had gone to the border with your eldest brother, so we didn't look for you in these years. I'm so sorry, little Mumu, for making you suffer. After being indignant, Zukinkin thought of the ordinary life that Zumu had lived for so many years, and the dangers he had experienced during this period. Tears kept rolling in her eyes. Zukinkin reached out and hugged Zumu in her arms, and comforted him. Zumu didn't feel too wronged. He was originally a time traveler, and with the golden finger, he didn't think he had suffered much. As for those shameless old men who wanted to surround and kill him, Zumu said that when he was strong enough, it would only take a few minutes to kill them. Since he has now agreed to the system and wants to become the strongest trainer, he must do it seriously. It's okay, and Zumu shook his head to indicate that it was not a big problem. At the same time, he was secretly surprised by the family affairs of his predecessor. Zukinkin's words, "If your grandfather is still alive," and "our Zu family," made Zumu ponder for a long time. From this point of view, Greninja Koga is probably not a middle school student, but the cheap dad is really powerful, and the Zu family really exists. If you say that, it's terrifying to think about it carefully. Shaking his head, Zumu said he didn't dare to think too much. Since the old man of the Zu family is gone, it's useless to think more now. Anyway, I am a super second generation. Even if the Zu family is gone, don't I still have a cheap dad? The sky can be made up for me when it falls. With such a useful dad, what am I afraid of? With 1,000 thoughts in his mind, after the meal, Zumu brought his 7 elves and Zukinkin to the secret realm of ice, the ice cave. Little Mumu, this is a good place. The scenery of the ice cave is not only very beautiful, but there are also a large number of ice elves, as well as countless minerals and secret treasures. According to legend, under the ice cave, there may be a mythical beast Articuno living. Click. Zukinkin enthusiastically introduced the situation of the ice cave to Zumu, but Zumu heard the 3 words Articuno and instantly fell into the ice cave. It's over. I only had time to think of these 2 words. The dog system arrived late. Ding. Congratulations to the host for setting off on a special sign-in mission. The trip to the ice cave. The legendary elf, Articuno, is sleeping in the ice cave. The host needs to defeat Articuno head-on to complete the sign-in, and the reward is unknown. Host, guess. Sure enough, I said, can the system make it easy for me? This is impossible. And I think we can meet Articuno this time. Do you believe it? Zumu smiled bitterly and said to Zukinkin. Zukinkin looked at Zumu in confusion and waved his hand perfunctorily. I believe it. I believe everything Zumu said. Zumu was speechless. Okay, woman, you are perfunctory to me now. I remember it. Wait, there will be a time for you to be surprised. Don't cry when you see Articuno. Without saying anything more, Zumu found himself in the secret realm of the ice cave after experiencing a sense of distortion. Observing the surrounding environment, he found that there were many humans here, not trainers, but ordinary people. Some of them were skiing here, while others were making ice sculptures. It was obvious that this was already a secret realm that humans could control, and it was relatively safe to move around here. Seriously, little ant, can you clear the field? Zumu was worried that the battle with Articuno would hurt innocent people. The scene of the last time Dark Lugia exploded and shattered the entire meteor falls was still vivid in his mind. The power of the mythical beast was so terrifying. Even if this Articuno was weaker, it was probably as powerful as the Flame Emperor. At full power, it should be easy to become the peak of the head. The reason why Zumu had the confidence to take this task was that he still had 9 experience cards for the peak of the head. Speaking of this, we have to talk about the issue of strength. Divine beasts like the Flame Emperor are usually at the level of masters, walking in various secret realms or the human world. Once they encounter a battle, they can fight at full power regardless of consumption. The bottom line of strength is the peak of the head, or even the supreme. And the main gods like the Phoenix King, Lugia, and Rayquaza, the bottom line of strength is the peak of the supreme. It may even surpass the supreme and reach the legendary level. We will talk about this when it happens. Now let's look at the situation on Zumu's side. Hearing Zumu say that he wanted to clear the field, Zukinkin was a little confused. What's the situation? Are you still a little embarrassed? She thought Zumu was too thin-skinned and it would be a bit difficult to play with so many people here. Clearing the field is fine, forget it. Since you have asked, I will satisfy you once today. Although the old man of the Zoo family is gone, a lean camel is bigger than a horse. With Zukinkin's official status and power, it is still easy to complete the clearing task. What? There is a possibility of an avalanche today? It's really disappointing. I finally got a holiday to go skiing, but I encountered an avalanche. What a pity. Our date this time was forced to be cancelled. People left the transmission channel of the secret realm with complaints. Obviously, Zukinkin used the excuse of an avalanche to conduct an official clearing. Zumu looked at the people who gathered together to complain indifferently. He smiled disdainfully. I'm saving you, stupid humans. After saying this in a low voice, Zumu saw that only Zukinkin and he were left in the secret realm. He decided not to hide it anymore and shouted loudly, Ice Secret Realm, your emperor is back. As soon as this second-year slogan came out, the mountains and the earth shook in an instant. Avalanche. The event that Zukinkin used as an excuse, actually happened. As the avalanche came, a crisp bird song came from afar. Chapter 131 Full Power Articuno. Zukinkin was shocked. No way, Articuno came here? Auntie, wait a minute, I want to meet this guy. As he said that, he released Charizard and jumped onto his back. Mew, wait a minute, I'll accompany you. Before Zukinkin finished speaking, Charizard took off and flew towards Articuno in the distance. Seeing this, Zukinkin didn't waste any words. As an elder, it was impossible for her to wait there honestly. Ice Dragon, let's go. After releasing her own Pokémon, Zukinkin chose to follow without saying a word. In addition to worrying about Zumu, Zukinkin also wanted to see the legendary Articuno. As an ice trainer, her love for Articuno is no less than that of a fanatical fan of star chasing. In the air, Articuno was awakened by Zumu's voice and said that he was very irritable. The Articuno family is originally gentle in character and often saves the lives of humans in distress in icebergs. But there are always exceptions, just like the Lugia in Meteor Falls. The elves of the same race always have different personalities. For example, this Articuno, the ice cave was originally a dark cave, but because he was seriously injured and needed to hibernate to recover, he chose to land here and turned it into an ice cave. Articuno never thought that his healing behavior would inadvertently harm the lives of tens of thousands of elves in the original dark cave. Thousands of years have passed, and as Articuno's injuries have improved, the number of ice elves in the ice cave has gradually increased. But no one knows that once Articuno's injuries are completely recovered and he chooses to leave, this place will lose its rich ice energy, the iceberg will melt, and the elves living here will once again suffer a catastrophe. Therefore, the dog system is not a real dog. After detecting the cause and effect here, he decided to give Zumu this special task. As for the previous bedroom task, the dog system said that he was just pitying Zumu. I admit it. So what? What can you do to me? Articuno, let's fight. Zumu didn't say anything nonsense. He didn't know what happened, but since the system arranged all this, he believed that the system should have a reasonable explanation. If not, then so be it. Anyway, it's just a fight with Articuno. Human, you are too weak and don't deserve to be my opponent. Articuno was very arrogant. Although he was very angry now, He still didn't mention the desire to fight when he saw Zoomu, a trainer with only a king-level Pokémon. Zoomu smiled. I was actually looked down upon by Articuno. Okay, that's great. System, use the experience card and give it to Charizard. Since Zai's Charizard can fight the legendary beast Articuno alone, mine can do it too. Zoomu made a little joke in his heart and decided to give Charizard the opportunity to fight the legendary beast alone. Greninja shook slightly in the Pokeball to express his dissatisfaction. However, Zoomu thought that he couldn't just follow this guy in everything. After all, he was also a trainer. Those who know are fine, but those who don't know may think that Greninja is the trainer, which is not acceptable. Evil habits should not be allowed to grow. Just Charizard, you next time. Leaving no word for Greninja, Zoomu released Dragonite, stood on Dragonite's back, and released Charizard. Charizard, Mega Evolution. With a command, Charizard roared, and the energy of the Mega Evolution Stone slowly overflowed, wrapping Charizard's whole body. Then, Charizard looked up to the sky and spit out a blue flame. Charizard X joins, Master Peak Experience card. As Zoomu's voice fell, Charizard experienced the same comfort as Greninja before. After using the experience card, the whole body was wrapped in a mysterious power, and there was a constant flow of energy in the body. Roar! Zoomu, I want to fight 10. It's really not easy to make Yongshin's Charizard say this. This is enough to show how awesome the experience card produced by the system is. Articuno, is that enough now? Zoomu sneered and tilted his head to look at Articuno. Articuno didn't expect that this human riding Dragonite actually had such a magical method, which could make a spirit with the strength of a king of heaven have the strength of a master in an instant. It's interesting. Okay, then I'll play with you, Articuno said arrogantly, slowly shaking his wings, and the ice and snow gathered around him. Boom. With the roars, Articuno turned on the full power mode like the Yen Emperor back then. Outside the secret realm, a flash of cold light flashed and pointed directly to the sky. Countless strong men were shocked in an instant. This energy is Articuno. Just like last time, strong men from all over the country couldn't sit still, and were ready to follow the guidance of the cold light to go to the ice cave to see the true appearance of Articuno. If there is a chance, it is not impossible to subdue Articuno. However, the strong men are smart now. With the lessons learned from the Chimpan forest before, they called their friends or contacted the local strong men in the east before going out. He began to ask one thing. That is, whether the guy who had Lugia before was in the ice cave secret realm. After getting accurate information that Zoomu was in the ice cave, the strong men were helpless. It was meaningless to not go through this muddy water. With Zoomu, it means that someone will die. Don't go. Not knowing what happened outside the secret realm, Zoomu was looking at Articuno solemnly. This guy is very strong, under full power. He has the strength of the middle stage of the Supreme. No wonder he is so arrogant. He is really powerful. Charizard, don't be arrogant. Your opponent is stronger than you. Charizard was not stupid. Seeing that Articuno's strength exceeded his own, he immediately cancelled his arrogant state and restored his brave and cautious character. Roar! I know, Zoomu, I think you should call the blue frog out, and we will fight together. No, call everyone, we will fight together, this way we will definitely win. Believe me. Zoomu almost fell off the back of Dragonite when he heard this. I told you to be careful, not to be a coward. Look at Zai's Charizard, it's so small, but it dares to face challenges. Look at you. Alas, there is no harm without comparison. Why are you so cowardly? Roar! Zoomu, I'm not cowardly, I'm steady. Zoomu obviously forgot the fact that he had just obtained the superpower. His complaints in his heart were heard clearly by Charizard. By the way, who is Zai? Is he also a Charizard trainer? Is his Charizard strong? Sure enough, there are too many masters in the outside world. I should go back to the novice village to practice more. Chapter 132, The BBQ Feast of the Water-Breathing Fire Dragon. If you say Charizard is a coward, then it is indeed very cowardly. However, in terms of strength, Charizard is not necessarily afraid of Articuno. It's just two small stages. Don't true geniuses fight against each other and defeat the strong with the weak? Stop talking nonsense. Let's start with a gunpowder charge. Zumu didn't give Charizard a chance to nag, and gave the order directly. Seeing that he couldn't dodge, Charizard could only bite the bullet and look at Articuno. Roar! Come on, my sword has been thirsty for a long time. Since the battle has been decided, you can't be cowardly. Go all out and be careful. From the momentum at the beginning and the trash talk, Charizard can't lose to the opponent. So, the slogan must be shouted loudly. Zumu slapped his forehead helplessly. These guys have been led astray by Greninja. Shouting slogans before fighting. Who taught you this? Gunpowder charge, after using it, can increase your speed by 1 level. Zumu is using a safe opening method, using the snowball tactic to continuously strengthen Charizard. Since there is a gap in strength, then rely on strengthening to make up for it. Articuno is not an idiot. Seeing Charizard use Gunsmoke charge, his wings instantly start to move. Tailwind. You speed up, I speed up too, and I speed up more than you. But he overlooked one point, that is, Gunsmoke charge is not just a variable skill of acceleration. This skill is harmful. With a cry of pain, Articuno was hit by Charizard. Although he tried his best to dodge and did not bear all the attacks of Charizard, this fire skill still hurt Articuno enough. Charizard, who has integrated the Red Lotus Karma Fire, has a powerful fire skill. How can an Ice Elf resist it? Asshole. Feeling that his face was damaged and the roots of his wings were a little charred, Articuno was furious. Without saying a word, he took advantage of the acceleration of Tailwind and directly locked Charizard with a blizzard. Let you taste the baptism of ice and snow. Roaring, Articuno released his ultimate move, Blizzard. Zumu calmly looked at the situation on the field. The effect of the superpower was brought to the extreme by Zumu unconsciously. If you say that telepathy is the only effect of the superpower, then you are wrong. A special power that can be as famous as the power of Waveguide and the power of Chainpan. The superpower is not just as simple as being able to telepathically communicate with the elves. Charizard, wrap yourself in the flame vortex. Then, find the right opportunity and use Dragon Dance to avoid the blizzard. Zumu's command was like a heavenly book, extremely weird. Using Dragon Dance and Flame Vortex to block the attack of Articuno's blizzard, isn't it funny? In the distance, Zukinking was watching the game. Seeing Zumu's command, she almost got angry and grabbed Zumu's ears to teach him what a fairy battle is. As a result, the scene that happened next made Zukinking completely dumbfounded. Charizard, under Zumu's telepathy, wrapped its entire body in a vortex of flames, and then used Dragon Dance. With a strange rhythm, the dance began to slowly proceed, and when Articuno's blizzard hit, Charizard used the flames burning on its body to block the first wave of Blizzard's attack. Then, it rushed straight into the center of the blizzard. In this vacuum area without attack, it performed Dragon Dance. Asshole, you actually found it. Articuno didn't expect that Zumu knew the weakness of his blizzard, and immediately fired a freezing ray, heading straight for Charizard dancing in the blizzard. Protect, and then continue Dragon Dance. Zumu's voice was terrifyingly calm. Under the influence of the power of Super Conquer, he could completely complete the command of the battle without speaking. However, commanding is a habit of trainers, and if Zumu didn't speak, his rhythm would be disrupted. Charizard didn't hesitate at all, and used protection the moment Zumu gave the order, blocking the attack of the freezing ray, and then continued Dragon Dance. With the cover of the blizzard, Charizard's attributes gradually increased, and his speed became faster and faster. From the beginning, he had to protect and resist Articuno's attack, but in the end, he could completely avoid it directly. Articuno was shocked. He had never seen such a weird trainer. Don't you dare to fight me head-on, weak human. After another helpless roar, Articuno directly used another blizzard to try to trap Charizard completely. Seeing this, Zumu smiled. Articuno, you have lived in vain for thousands of years. With this tactical level, go home and hug your children. Charizard, Evil Flame Dragon, big move. Evil Flame Dragon. Charizard, blessed by the blood of the Fire Dragon God, not only has the characteristics of water storage, but also has this one of its own signature skills. Before the Z move came out, Zumu thought that this move of Charizard was almost the strongest skill of the fire system. Charizard roared, and in the double blizzard, it sprayed a black flame, The flames strangely passed through the blizzard and hit Articuno directly. Don't stop. Heat wind. Beat the dog when it's down. This is the eternal truth of winning. Don't stop. It's also the sentence Zumu said most often. Those who understand. We won't drive this car. Let's just taste it. When Articuno was hit by the evil flame dragon, the counterattack of the fire-breathing dragon began to come. Whether it was heat wind or big word explosion, it was a frequent big move, and every move was fatal. In just a few short breaths, Articuno turned from blue to charred black. From a mythical beast, it turned into a roasted chicken. Orange flavor. Dalmu, too strong. Zukinking was still questioning, but when she saw the scene in front of her, she realized it. A tiger father will have a dog son? I'm afraid it's Zumu. This kid's fighting talent is no worse than his father. As the battle was coming to an end, Zumu naturally discovered Zukinking, who was watching the battle from a distance, waving his hand for his aunt to come over. Zumu said, "Aunt, people say you are the most beautiful ice trainer. I don't think that's enough. Do you think if this Articuno becomes your Pokémon, will it be more worthy of this title?" As he said that, Zumu looked at Articuno, who buried his head in the snow without saying a word. "I'm asking you a question. Do you think my aunt is worthy of you and can be your trainer?" Articuno's feathers were all burned off, and now his whole body was bald. When he heard Zumu's question, he didn't even dare to raise his head, and hurriedly said, "Impossible. You want me, Articuno, to become a Pokémon of you humans. You're dreaming." Zumu saw that he was still insisting, and laughed directly. "Charizard, she doesn't seem to be convinced. Keep burning her until she is convinced. By the way, let Greninja conjure a water mirror for him later, so that he can appreciate his current appearance." Chapter 133, Devil Zumu and Social Frog. When Articuno heard what Zumu said, his butt trembled with fear. "It's over. This guy is not a human. He is bald all over, and you want me to look at myself? I'll just be speechless." Zukinking, who was standing by, was also a little cutie. Seeing Zumu say this, she quickly followed up and said, "Why don't I like him too much when he looks like this? I don't want a bald elf. Little Mumu, take a look, or you can subdue him." As expected of a woman from the Zoo family, her skill in subduing is not inferior to Zumu at all. Articuno, who originally had dignity and shame, exploded when he heard what Zukinking said. "I'll fight you." However, his fight was useless. Charizard pressed him on the snow and grilled him again. When the air began to be filled with the aroma of barbecue, Articuno finally collapsed. "I admit it. I am willing to be subdued. Let me go, human." Zumu smiled when he saw this. "I told you that you won't cry until you see the coffin. Really, it's not a big deal. You should have just been obedient earlier." Zumu laughed, but Zukinking beside him couldn't laugh. To be honest, she really disliked the current Articuno. The beautiful blue feathers were burned to ashes, leaving only a layer of skin and bones. It looks no different from the vulture gnaw on the roadside. At least the vulture gnaw still has 2 hairs on her body. Look at this Articuno. There is not a single hair. What the hell? Can this elf be kept? Whoever wants it can have it. Anyway, Ms. Zoo doesn't like it. Well, I say, little ant, you don't really dislike him, do you? Zumu seemed to have guessed Zukinking's thoughts and asked hesitantly. As soon as he said this, Articuno collapsed directly. "My dignified divine beast actually has a day to be disliked? I have surrendered, but no one is willing to take it? What kind of world is this? Is there still a way for divine beasts to survive? Well, he's so bald, so ugly." Zukinking only spoke the truth, not falsehood. Zumu scratched the back of his head and thought for a while. He consoled her. "Sister, don't look at him like that. He's in the molting period now. New feathers will grow in a few days. He will definitely look better and more beautiful then." Articuno on the side wanted to cry but had no tears. "Good fellow, molting period, you figured this out? Have you ever seen a mythical beast molting? Bullshit." However, the situation is stronger than people. Even if Articuno was once awesome, it is still a phoenix in distress and worse than a chicken. Now he can only put down his noble head and obey obediently. However, his nightmare is not over yet. This man named Zumu ended his sins, and next, there is a frog called Society. Cool. I am Greninja, Meet the little princess. After coming out of the Pokeball, Greninja saluted Zukinkin directly. Zumu also understood when he heard Greninja calling him that. It seemed that this little ant should be real. At least she had been officially certified by Greninja. Greninja, are you the little guy from that year? Seeing Greninja, Zukinkin thought for a moment, and her face gradually showed some surprise. Cool. Yes, it's me. Greninja made a handsome pose. Cool. Please wait for a moment, princess. Let me fix this disobedient elf for you. As long as it is treated with the traditional Chinese medicine passed down from my ancestors, this guy will definitely be obedient and have no second thoughts. Zukinkin didn't understand, but Zumu did, giving Articuno a look that said may the best of luck to you. Zumu pulled Zukinkin aside. Little ant, the following scenes may be too bloody and violent, not suitable for children. You'd better not watch it, otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to face Articuno in the future. Zukinkin was stunned. What was going on? But soon, she thought of Greninja's father, and then she was relieved. Well, I can probably guess a little bit. Zumu nodded. It's good that you know. It's really pitiful for Articuno. Cool. I heard that you were quite crazy just now. Greninja pinched his fingers and walked towards Articuno. Articuno, who had been tortured by Charizard and Zumu to the point of mental breakdown, was now a standard frightened bird. When he saw Greninja, the first thing he thought of was not to resist, but to run away. However, how could he run away? Cool. Shadow clone technique. Greninja directly formed a seal and transformed into dozens of shadow clones, and then, each shadow clone tacitly took out a water mirror. Cool. Come on, take a look at yourself. Cool. Come on, take a look at yourself. Cool. Face the reality. Articuno collapsed at that time. He could face the reality, but he couldn't face so many Greninjas at the same time, or Greninjas holding a mirror. I'm speechless. So crazy. That's enough. I surrender. Please, take this frog. Articuno collapsed and begged for mercy, but unfortunately, his begging for mercy did not work at all. Instead, he offended the petty-minded Greninja who was just like Zumu. Cool. Who did you say was a frog? Say it again. Your whole family is frogs. Cool. Greninja thought that it was enough, and if Articuno saw his current miserable state, he would probably obey. Unexpectedly, this guy dared to say that I was a frog. Can I tolerate this? If I tolerate this, Greninja, will write the word society backwards. Cool. Watch out. Kanoa's strongest secret technique, 1,000 years of killing. When Kakashi's famous skills were used by Greninja, Articuno was left with only endless pain. The chrysanthemums are withered, and the ground is covered with wounds. A miserable bird cry rang across the sky, and Articuno closed his eyes in shame. He finally fainted under the heavy burden. Cool. Pretending to faint? Your trick is too outdated. Without saying a word, Greninja used the water gun and spat a mouthful of sticky phlegm on Articuno's face. Articuno woke up instantly. He sat up in shock from a long-term sick dream, and the clown turned out to be me. Articuno thought that everything before was a nightmare. When he opened his eyes, his beautiful feathers were still there, and he was still the lofty beast. However, the reality was that dozens of Greninjas held a water mirror and surrounded him from all sides. While crying lonely, they showed him the real self. Without feathers, you are like garbage, and you are spit on when you go out. You who have lost your feathers are more miserable than a beggar, and the pain is so deep. A song called The King and the Beggar sounded in the appropriate context. Articuno turned around and saw Zumu playing a song on his cell phone, waving at him. Chapter 134, The Beautiful Trainer Who Conquered Articuno. After being tortured by Zumu and Greninja, Articuno finally surrendered. It's impossible not to surrender. If it doesn't surrender, it will be tortured. Articuno is not an idiot. Having lived for so many years, he naturally knows that a good man can bend and stretch, be able to bend and stretch, be able to bend and stretch. If you don't understand, read the comments and understand. After Zukinkin captured Articuno, the Alliance received the news. Minister, something big has happened. This trainer named Zukinkin just registered an Articuno. A staff member of the Alliance Center suddenly stood up and shouted. In an instant, the whole office went crazy. What? Articuno? The legendary Pokémon? Are you sure? Impossible. A group of colleagues put down their work and started talking. The minister gently pushed his glasses and said solemnly, "There is no need to report this matter to the higher-ups. Just use the privileges of our communication monitoring department and report it to the chief. I seem to have heard of this female trainer named Zoo. Do you know her?" The communication monitoring department is a special agency of the Alliance, which is responsible for protecting the privacy of trainers. It is also the only way for the Alliance to obtain the privacy of trainers. Ordinary people cannot find out the information about the registration of elves, but this department is the department for sorting out the information. In other words, everyone here knows a lot of information about trainers. Therefore, if you work here, you have to sign a confidentiality agreement. If you violate the rules, you may go directly from the office to the police station. The minister's question shocked everyone. "It seems that you have heard of her." "It shouldn't be, right, Minister? I know that this Zooking is a trainer of the Snow Mountain Gym and is called the most beautiful ice trainer." An inconspicuous young man suddenly spoke up and gave everyone an answer, but this was not what the minister wanted. "I remember this name. This Zooking seems to be the youngest daughter of the Zoo family back then." An old staff member spoke up, and his words shocked the minister. "Zoo family." "Sure enough, this matter cannot be reported according to normal procedures, otherwise he will definitely be finished." "Okay, this matter is S-level confidential, and you must not mention it to anyone." "Dalma, report it directly to the chief and let the chief decide on it." The minister gave a clear and neat order, and the staff also executed it quickly. Not long after, Chief Yueyang learned about this. "Articuno, it's not a big problem. Give this girl a good promotion. Don't look at this girl's cold appearance. In fact, she loves to show off. Promote her and make her happy." Chief was still very familiar with Zooking. After he finished speaking, the minister's face showed the same expression as expected. "Some things, it's okay to know, but you must never say or mention them." Why Chief knows Zooking? This is a big secret related to the past, and why the Zoo family is so powerful and makes people shudder. This is also a secret. Soon, the news that a beautiful trainer had captured Articuno spread throughout the East. When Kyle in Western Europe got the news, he made the same choice as Chief. That is to help Zooking publicize it well, let this matter ferment, and make this little girl popular. "It's over, Dalmu. Something big has happened." After taking a shower, Zooking turned on her phone and was surprised to find that she had made the headlines without realizing it. She panicked at that time. "It's over. Isn't it over?" Her panic was not just an attempt to cover up, but she was really panicking. If it were normal, she would really want the whole world to know about the Articuno she captured. But now, it's not appropriate. He can't show this Articuno. What should Zooking do when facing the news media with a hairless Articuno? Zumu was also stunned. "What's the situation? Didn't he tell others about the Articuno matter? Didn't he and his aunt know about it? How come it was on the headlines in just a short while? Isn't it inappropriate?" "Dalmu, what should I do?" "If someone wants to see Articuno, but I can't take it out, wouldn't that be embarrassing?" Zooking turned around anxiously, while Zumu was confused. "What, are you anxious because of this?" "Not because Articuno was exposed. I don't understand the brain circuit of this creature." "Women." Zumu patted his forehead speechlessly and took out a wound medicine from the system. "Give him this drink. This hairless chicken will grow new feathers soon." At the beginning, this wound medicine directly restored the seriously injured Greninja to its original state. Zumu felt that it was a bit too wasteful to use it to grow feathers for Articuno, but there was no way. "As long as my aunt was happy, let her be." "Damn it, why is this woman my aunt? Why?" Thinking of this, Zumu suddenly became unhappy. "It's really too much. Why is the gene of the old Zoo family so excellent? I hope all the lovers in the world will be brothers and sisters in the end." No, not just brothers and sisters, but also the kind of couples who have been separated for many years. Thinking viciously, Zumu saw Zooking give the healing potion to Articuno. A magical scene happened. The originally bald Articuno actually began to grow new feathers on its body. The blue feathers like ice crystals are beautiful and moving, as crystal clear as fairy jade. It should be said that this Articuno is really good looking. It's almost catching up with Suicune. Zuumyu couldn't help but sigh. Suicune's nobility is not actually how good looking he is, but mainly his aura. The fairy-like ice mist and the looming beauty have turned Suicune into the most beautiful elf in people's hearts. In fact, Articuno also has Suicune's aura. And compared to Suicune, Articuno is really beautiful, symmetrical from head to tail, phoenix-like appearance and ice crystal-like body. When flying in the snow-capped mountains, there will be a few crystal blue streamers looming. Yes, Articuno is the most beautiful. Seeing that Articuno's feathers had grown back, Zukinking was overjoyed. She hugged Articuno and stroked him randomly with both hands. Zuumyu felt a little sour. And that gym badge? When Zukinking mentioned this, she slapped her forehead. The gym badge? I'll give it to you tomorrow morning. You're tired today, so have a good rest. Don't think about it. You live in the guest room. Don't always glance at my room. After saying that, Zukinking bit her finger proudly, turned around and left with a smile. Seeing her graceful back, Zuumyu couldn't help but curse. I wish all the lovers in the world are brothers and sisters who have been separated for many years! Chapter 135 When Zuumyu was bullied. After leaving the Snow Mountain Gym, Zuumyu went to Kincheng without stopping. There was a gym called War, waiting for Zuumyu's arrival. Kincheng is a beautiful city with good feng shui, outstanding people and spiritual talents. Many legendary figures were born here. At the same time, the Xianyang Academy in Kincheng is also one of the best academies in the East. The dean of Xianyang Academy is said to be a woman who is so beautiful that she is beyond description. Her spirit strength has reached the head of the sect, and she is a big man above the venerable. This big man is standing at the door of the War Gym at this time, watching everything happening in the gym. Master, Zuumyu is here and wants to challenge you. A disciple in a white training suit bent forward and reported respectfully. Okay, send someone to get rid of him. A little kid is not worth my personal effort. The person who spoke was the trainer of the War Gym, a middle-aged muscular man Pantheon. But this Pantheon is not the same Pantheon. This Pantheon has no spear or shield, and is now holding a branch to tease the parrot in the cage. Hearing Zuumyu's arrival, Panson's face was calm, with a hint of disdain at the corner of his mouth. Humphrey, just a 16-year-old kid, relying on his relationship with Western Europe to act arrogantly. This second generation is not worth Panson's effort. War Gym, as the name suggests, is born for war. As a gym trainer of the War Gym, Panson not only likes fighting, but also likes to play with birds. Don't get the wrong idea, it's just raising birds. As an old and powerful man, Panson has his own code of conduct. Although he likes fighting, he doesn't fight with everyone. Fighting also depends on people, and the objects of Panson's fight must not have two types of people. The first type, people Panson looks down on. The second type, people Panson can't beat. Obviously, he thinks Zuumyu is the first type, people who rise up by relying on background and eating soft rice, and he despises them the most. Forget it, let Torin go. As my eldest disciple, he is more than enough to deal with a little kid. Panson stopped the disciple who was about to leave and gave another instruction. After all, Zuumyu is well known. If he really sends a random disciple, Panson is also worried about accidents. The gym has its own rules. Unless the gym owner thinks the challenger is qualified and willing to challenge directly, the challenger needs to defeat the disciples in the gym before he is qualified to fight the gym trainer. There is nothing wrong with Panson doing this. Unfortunately, the challenger is none other than Zuumyu. I'm here to challenge the gym, Zuumyu said as he walked into the War Gym. Wait, our senior brother will be here soon. What kind of master you have? What kind of disciple you have? The disciples that Panson has accepted over the years are all from poor families. They look down on Zuumyu, a second generation who relies on women to make a fortune. As for whether Zuumyu really relies on women, it's said outside anyway. And three people make a tiger. Seeing that the other party's attitude was a bit unfriendly and he still wanted to find a senior brother to fight with him, Zuumyu frowned slightly. Is this looking down on me? Forget it. The gym has its own rules. I'll take a look at the situation first. Zuumyu thought about it for a while, and stood there silently, waiting for the so-called senior brother to arrive. Not long after, the senior brother arrived. "Are you here to challenge the gym?" Senior brother Orn, the first disciple of the war gym, although he was born in a poor family, he was gifted and was carefully trained by Pantheon for many years. Now he is already a top trainer. It is estimated that it will not be long before he can inherit Pantheon's position as the gym leader. With his head raised proudly, Orn looked at Zumu with his nose and snorted coldly. "Pretty boy." Zumu clicked his tongue, and saw that this Orn was a little arrogant, and he felt a little unhappy. "That's me. Stop talking nonsense. Defeat you and you can fight against the gym trainer, right?" When Zumu asked this, Orn suddenly laughed. "Ha ha ha, I'm laughing to death. This kid actually wants to defeat me?" "Brothers, do you think he is crazy?" Orn's words made several disciples who were watching the battle laugh as well. "No way. This Zumu wants to defeat our senior brother. Is he crazy?" "Bah, how could the senior brother lose when he is so strong?" "That's right. If the senior brother loses to this pretty boy, then is there any need for us to continue to become stronger? Of course, just have plastic surgery and find a beautiful woman to marry and live with." Plastic surgery also costs money. Alas, the disciples began to mock Zumu as if they were desperate. To be honest, they are not really mentally retarded or looking for death. Some people, who have been in the well all their lives, are destined to not see how wonderful the outside world is. Just like these people, poverty has limited their imagination. As a result, they are ugly and unaware of it, and they have to sneer at people who are stronger than them, say sarcastic words, and give one-star bad reviews and swear at every turn. For these people, ignoring is the best choice. The more you fight back against them, the more excited they will be. Of course, in addition to ignoring them, there is another way to deal with these frogs at the bottom of the well, that is to smash their faces. You say I can't do it, then I will defeat you with my strength. You say I'm a gigolo, but at least I have someone who loves me. Zumu grinned and ignored these barking frogs at the bottom of the well. Such people are not worth Zumu's nonsense. "I'm a gigolo, that's all." Explaining to them is like playing the lute to a cow, isn't it? "Come, let me see the strength of your challenger," the eldest brother said arrogantly, releasing his Raiden and looking at Zumu proudly. "A pseudo-king middle stage Raiden. You just look down on me like that?" Zumu looked at the eldest brother Orn in surprise, a little confused. "Using a pseudo-king Raiden to fight me? This really doesn't take Zumu seriously." Orn was puzzled, and when Zumu spoke in self-humiliation, he laughed immediately. "Nonsense. Why should we look up to you?" "Good. Enough of the nonsense." As soon as Orn finished speaking, a woman in a white coat of a researcher walked into the gym. The woman had her hair in a bun, showing off her mature charm to the fullest. Although the white coat was loose, it still couldn't hide her hot body. Her every frown and smile seemed like a work of art that made people love, be obsessed, and even fascinated. Step by step, she walked to the battlefield. Under everyone's infatuated gaze, the woman stopped and pointed at Orn and spoke coldly. The voice was like ice and hell. "Call Pantheon out. Today, I'm going to smash your gym. You dare to say that about my nephew? I want to see how many heads Pantheon has for me to chop off." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136, You have 7 ants like this. At this time, not only the disciples of the War Dojo were stunned, but Zumu was also stunned. "Don't I just have a little ant? No one told me that I still have an ant in Kinche." What's going on? "Hey, isn't this Dinzu? What wind has blown you?" Pan-sen heard Zhuhong's voice in the training room. As if he heard the sound of nature, he didn't even have time to put on his shoes and trotted all the way. Seeing that it was Din Zhuhong, the goddess he had secretly loved for many years, Pan-sen was so excited that he almost knelt on the ground. "Haha, what wind? I'm having a seizure." "Assholes, who gave you the courage to let a mere disciple fight my nephew?" "What's wrong? Are you the gym trainer? Alor died young?" "My nephew is here. and he has to pass the test of your disciple first, right? It is not difficult to see that Zhu Hong is a woman with a bad temper. When she saw Pan Sen, she started to spray directly. What gym trainer, in Zhu Hong's eyes, let her nephew be wronged? That's not okay. Zhu Mu came, and it would be fine if they didn't give him a good reception, but they actually had a bunch of frogs in the well shouting in front of Zhu Mu. Was this to slap Zhu Mu's face, or to slap the Zhu family's face? Pan Sen was dumbfounded at the time. What? Zhu Mu is Zhu Hong's nephew? Never heard of it. Dean Zhu, do you mean Zhu Mu is also from the Zhu family? When the word Zhu family was mentioned, Pan Sen, a noble man who originally disdained power, became a little trembling. The Zhu family is a taboo that these older generation trainers never dared to mention. A mountain. What else? What's the matter? My dad is gone, and you all dare to jump out and bully my Zhu family because there is no one left, right? Come on, there's no need to fight this gym battle today. I'll tear down your broken gym and treat it as a welcome party for my nephew and set off firecrackers. The Zhu family has no other characteristics, that is, arrogance. Whether it's Zhu Mu's cheap dad or the previous San Zhu King, they are all arrogance to the outside world from beginning to end. This kind of arrogance is inherited from the bloodline, and it is also a manifestation of superiority. Our Zhu family is awesome. Those who don't accept it, come and fight. When Pan Sen heard Zhu Hong's words, he almost cried. What are you doing? We are living a good life. Why do you want to demolish my gym just because of a disagreement? I was wrong. Isn't it okay? The iron-willed Pan Sen, apologize to you, okay? These are words Pan Sen can only shout in his heart. Pan Sen doesn't know the other people in the Zhu family, but has only heard a little about them. But Zhu Hong, he has been secretly in love with her for many years and knows this woman's temper. She has never lost a battle of the same level since she was 16 years old. At the age of 20, she successfully won the World King competition and became a titled venerable. After only 3 years, her strength reached the level of the head and became a big man above the venerable. When she was 30 years old, she took over Xianyang College. Because she was tired of the days of fighting and killing outside, there was nearly 3 years of silence. But if someone thinks that Zhu Hong, who has disappeared for 3 years, has become soft and no longer has the temper and domineering of the past, then they are wrong. Keeping her word is Zhu Hong's greatest characteristic. Today, she said she wanted to demolish the war gym. That means Chiao is here, and I'm afraid he can only say, Zhu Hong, don't disturb the people. The Zhu family, this once huge behemoth, has collapsed for several years, but the remaining power is still there, and the descendants of the Zhu family are still rampant on this continent. Okay, you can just say nothing. I'll call someone over now and leave after the demolition. Zhu Hong was a little surprised to see that Pan Sen, who was always known for his hot temper, did not speak to stop her. But she still did not change her mind about demolishing the gym. Bullying my nephew, that's not okay. Demolishing it is to give you face. If my eldest brother was here, he would definitely bury you all. With a phone call, Zhu Hong called the civil engineering team of the college. A group of people brought various architectural elves and demolished the war gym in less than half an hour. After the gym was demolished, Zhu Hong felt much more comfortable. Putting a hand on Zhu Mu's shoulder, she leaned against Zhu Mu and said, Zhu Mu, don't be angry anymore, let's go. Andy will take you to eat hot pot. Seeing that Zhu Hong was finally leaving, Pan Sen hurriedly led his disciples to stand at the door of the ruined gymnasium, bowed together, and said goodbye and welcome to come next time. As for what he said before, that he was strong and unyielding, hated to curry favor with the powerful, could never be a dog of power in this life, and hated rich people. Now it seems like a group of clowns are directing and acting by themselves, and Pan Sen is the leader of those clowns, the Clown King. In the face of reality, these trolls who can only talk are actually fragile and vulnerable. Although they may not always encounter a behemoth like the Zhu family, even if there is no iron plate, they will get the retribution they deserve sooner or later. Thinking about how bad others are all day long, then in the end of such people will be worse than anyone else. Auntie, Zhu Mu remembered that in the photo that Zhu King showed him, there were only 2 people, his cheap father and her. How come there is another ant? It doesn't make sense. Although this auntie looks like a member of the zoo family when she gets crazy, Zoomu still thinks he should ask her, in case he makes a mistake. Otherwise it will be embarrassing. Oh, it seems that you really don't recognize me. I have been thinking about how you are doing these years. Sometimes I worry about you, a little thing, and even cry a few times at night. When you were a child, your auntie washed your diapers, but you forgot. You are so heartless. If your father hadn't taken you and your mother away, we would have thought you went to the border. Otherwise, we would have gone to see you long ago. Zoomu knew that Zooking had said the same thing. Zoomu's cheap father took him and his mother away, and everyone thought that their family had gone to the border. You guys? Zoomu was still very confused about this. You guys, did he refer to Zoohong and Zooking? Seeing Zoomu's confused face, Zoohong explained helplessly, your grandfather had many wives, so King and your father have the same mother, and we are half-siblings. Zoomu was stunned at the time. No wonder everyone says that the old man of the Zoo family is awesome. Looking at it this way, it is indeed awesome. He married many wives. How many is many? Well, aunt, so I have aunts like you. After digesting it, Zoomu asked carefully, the aunt who has the same father as his father but different mother is theoretically a blood relative, and close relatives cannot do that. Zoomu planned to ask clearly in advance to avoid any accidents in the future when he does not know the truth. After all, the Zoo family's genes for appearances are too strong. Ah, there are not many aunts like me, including Zooking. You have a total of 7. Chapter 137 The experience that the second generation should have. Zoomu really didn't expect that his predecessor, who seemed ordinary and even a little useless, actually had such an invincible background. Zoomu didn't ask much about the Zoo family, but just looking at these ants, Zoomu said that he loved them. What kind of fairy ants are these? Just looking at Zoohong and Zooking, Zoomu knew that the remaining 5 ants must be no worse. They are definitely more beautiful than each other. LSP Zoomu couldn't swallow his saliva anymore. This goddess ant is simply wonderful. Let's go. I'll take you to Xianyang College. After taking Zoomu to a luxurious meal of top-notch food, Zoohong generously took Zoomu's arm and pulled him into the car. The car is a top-notch luxury car. There is no need to think about it. As the eldest princess of this generation of the Zoo family, Zoohong herself is also young and promising. Can she be worthy of her status without driving a luxury car? Xianyang College, where a large number of top trainers in the East gathered. As Zoohong's luxury car drove into the campus, students on the roadside exclaimed. Some old students knew that this was the car of their dean, and they quickly took out their phones to take pictures. I'm happy to see the goddess dean's luxury car today, he posted a circle of friends. After parking the car in Zoohong's exclusive parking space, the two got out of the car. Zoomu, you should go to the college to study next year. I will take you to visit our Xianyang Academy today. Zoomu nodded and said yes. Indeed, after Zoomu finished the gym, it was the King Challenge. After becoming a king, you have to participate in the World King Tournament and become a titled venerable. After that, Zoomu is likely to enter the Magic City College with Shirona and become a campus couple. Accompany Shirona to have a happy college life in the college, and the two will graduate in 4 years and then enter the palace of marriage. Happy and perfect. Therefore, it is not bad to familiarize yourself with the situation of the college in advance. Zoomu thought about it and followed Zoohong all the way to the gymnasium. This gymnasium is also called the college arena. Pointing to the tall and magnificent building, Zoohong proudly introduced, in the gymnasium, there is a top 100 list. The students on the list are all super geniuses below the 3rd year. And each college will have such a top 100 list, which is to select outstanding talents and give them preferential resources. If you want to be on the top 100 list, you must rely on the elf battle and your own strength. The college is a real small society. Here, although there will be the most basic fairness and justice, it will also make students realize the truth that the strong will always be strong. A person is strong in the freshman stage, maybe because of a good foundation, but everyone is a freshman, and if they can't make it to the top 100 list, the gap will not be too big. This is fairness. And once it is the sophomore semester, The old class of students enters the senior year and starts internships or enters the secret realm. At this time, the watershed appears. The first batch of students on the top 100 list will be the first to get their reward for being on the list. This reward is like a snowball. Day after day, the strong will always be strong, and the weak will never have the opportunity and ability to overtake. Zhu Hong explained very seriously, and Zhu Mu also listened very seriously. This top 100 list is the resource vein of the college. Only students on the list are geniuses and are worthy of the college's vigorous cultivation. As for those who are not on the list, it is not that the college will not support you, but that the college is too lazy to pay attention to you. If you don't have the strength and talent, then you can play by yourself. Resources are only tilted towards a small number of geniuses. Zhu Hong's meaning is very simple, that is, to tell Zhu Mu that after you go to the college, you must occupy a place on the top 100 list. This is the snowball of resources, one step stronger, step by step. But to be honest, Zhu Mu thinks that this top 100 list does not seem to be that important to him. After all, he is a hanger-on, and with his current strength, he can go against the venerable. When Zhu Mu finishes participating in the World King tournament and returns to the college to go to college, won't it be a random killing? Me, the world's strongest, returns to college. I became a venerable outside the school, but you want me to fight a group of students on the top 100 list? However, although Zhu Mu thought that this top 100 list was of little use to him, to be honest, having an elder to guide him allowed Zhu Mu to know some things that his peers didn't know in advance. This is what moved Zhu Mu the most. I finally look like a second generation. Isn't foresight the basic skill that the second generation should have? However, what moved Zhu Mu even more was yet to come. Zhu Hong took him around the gymnasium and watched two ring battles in which students competed for the top 100 list. There were no blind idiots to cause trouble, and the aunt and nephew left here quickly. Zhu Mu, this is the incubation house of our Xianyang College. Generally speaking, only the 3 best students in each school year have the opportunity to enter the incubation house to choose an elf egg. High-quality elf eggs worth tens of millions outside can be obtained for free in the college as long as you are strong and talented. As he said, Zhu Hong swiped his identity card. Then she turned her head and looked at Zhu Mu, smiling. Zhu Mu, go inside and pick a fairy egg you like, and enjoy the joy of cultivating a fairy from an egg. At this moment, Zhu Mu was really a little bit like a Buddha. It should be said that this aunt is really good to him. I thought I was bullied, so she helped me vent my anger, and then treated me to a luxurious meal. She came to the academy and told me about the future direction and introduced the academy. Finally, she also gave me a fairy egg. Although it is an asset of the academy, Zhu Hong must have paid the same price for doing so. Zhu Mu was rarely moved. It turns out that there is still something as mysterious as family affection in this world. Okay. Without refusing, Zhu Mu strode into the incubation house. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing a sign-in in the incubation house, triggering a hidden reward. Gambling egg expert. Hearing the voice of the dog system, Zhu Mu suddenly realized, it turns out that I have been going astray. Or rather, I have always wronged the dog system, from the beginning. These mythical beasts and Koga Ninja were not arranged by the system. The system also thought that I was just an ordinary child, so it prepared a special sign-in reward for the hatching house, just so that I could buy the most suitable initial Pokémon at the cheapest price. As a result, I started with Greninja, and the sign-in system was dumbfounded. After that, the system thought that its path was narrow, but it didn't expect that its growth rate directly exceeded the system's imagination, resulting in it getting Arceus, forcing the system to upgrade. Chapter 138, Trainer Zhu Mu who took the wrong path. Zhu Mu realized that the emotional system had an arrangement, but his cheap father was too much and broke the system's arrangement from the beginning. In addition, Zhu Mu didn't want to be a trainer at first, so you can imagine how difficult it is to have a system that has been disrupted. Dog system, I'm sorry for you, Zhu Mu said to the system in his heart. Ding! Gambling egg expert can see through the essence of Pokémon eggs, and has a significant auxiliary role in selecting the initial Pokémon. The system seemed not to hear it, and after dutifully informing Zhu Mu of the attributes of the gambling egg expert, It fell silent again. Zumu sighed. I didn't expect that in the dynamness. The clown was actually. This is a fill-in-the-blank question. Forget it. If I had followed the rhythm of the dog system from the beginning, I might not be half as strong as I am now. I am lucky if I get it, but I am doomed if I lose it. Since I have become this Zumu, I must bear the responsibility brought by this Zumu. The Zoo family was once glorious, right? Don't worry. I will help you revive the glory. Talking to himself, Zumu entered the incubation house and began to choose. To be honest, the conditions of the incubation house of Xianyang College are extraordinary. Zumu took a look and saw that they were at least elf eggs with outstanding qualifications. You know, outstanding qualifications are sky high for children from ordinary families. If Zumu's classmates at Fengcheng No. 1 Middle School have an egg with outstanding qualifications, then this classmate can brag about it for a year. Of course, except for Liu Shao, the local tyrant fat boy. This is Charmander's, above outstanding, elite quality, not bad. And this Bulbasaur, Lord qualification, close to the king, this one is also okay. Fuck, what's going on with the egg in the corner? Zumu felt something tripped him and almost fell. He was concentrating on observing the Pokémon eggs just now, and didn't pay attention to his feet. As a result, he was tripped by something as hard as iron. Zumu looked down and was shocked. Fuck. Celebi. That's right, the Pokémon egg that almost tripped Zumu just now was Celebi's Pokémon egg. How could this thing be here? Isn't it funny? Xianyang Academy is so awesome. And it has Pokémon eggs of mythical beasts. Zumu was shocked. Anyone would be shocked. Celebi's Pokémon egg. Do you dare to believe it? Hurriedly hugging Celebi's Pokémon egg, Zumu didn't look at it anymore. There was no point in looking at anything else. Could there be other Pokémon eggs? Anyway, I don't believe it. Running out of the hatching house, Zumu handed the Pokémon egg to Zuhong, and, I want this one. Zuhong saw Zumu took a green egg and didn't ask much. It's okay as long as Zumu likes it. Hatching eggs depends on luck. Okay, let's register and go. With Zuhong there, the registration teacher didn't make things difficult for the two. He just recorded the number of the elf egg Zumu took and let him go. Then let's go to the teaching building to have a look. No, and, I'm a little tired. Let's take a rest first. Zumu said that he didn't want to continue shopping. Today's harvest was big enough. Although the dog system has been very quiet, according to Zumu's estimation, every time he encounters a mythical beast, it will cause a big event. If nothing unexpected happens, there should be an accident. Sure enough, just when Zumu finished speaking and Zuhong was about to take him to his small villa, a flame passed by Zumu. Fuck, Yandy. Zumu was stunned. This Yandy was definitely not the guy who gave him the Arceus egg. That was another Yandy. At the same time, Zuhong was also dumbfounded. Yandy actually appeared in the real world, showing up in the human world. Isn't this guy afraid of death? Let's go. Zuhong didn't know Zumu's strength, and her first reaction was to pull Zumu to go quickly to protect her nephew's safety. However, Zumu didn't want to go. I gave my aunt an Articuno, so shouldn't my aunt also have a gift? After receiving a Celebi from Zuhong, Zumu decided to give Zuhong a return gift. This is Yandy. Sister, let's take it down. With your identity, no one should dare to interfere in our battle to conquer it. Right? Zumu stopped and asked Zuhong. Zuhong didn't expect Zumu to be so bold and wanted to conquer Yandy. She was stunned at the time. No one should interfere. You want ... You want to conquer Yandy? Zumu nodded calmly. This experience card of the Peak of the Headmaster should not be used in vain. There are still 8 cards. Is it my job? Come on. It's your turn this time. Have fun. Dragonite. Zumu said, releasing Dragonite. Both Greninja and Charizard have a record of fighting against the mythical beasts, so the next one is naturally to let Dragonite experience it. Besides, the system gave us Yulong Blood when defeating Articuno last time, and Zumu thought it was just right for Dragonite. Charizard's Fire Dragon God bloodline no longer needs to be integrated with other powers. It is already a full form, and Charizard only needs to tap the potential of its bloodline. So, this time, Dragonite can only get the advantage. It just so happens that with this experience card, I believe Dragonite can better absorb Zhulong's bloodline. Yo, a dragon roar that doesn't sound like a dragon roar roared out of Dragonite's mouth. Looking at the flaming emperor on the opposite side, Dragonite's first reaction was take off your glasses, I'm going to charge. Remembering that he didn't have glasses, Dragonite said nothing, and after receiving the enhancement of the blood and experience card, he went berserk plus reverse scale. The greatest respect for the opponent is to go all out. If the opponent is stronger than you, then abandon reason and fight him to death. This is how Dragonite fights. Zhu Hong was shocked. Although she knew that Zhu King had subdued Articuno, she didn't know that Zhu Mu could fight the mythical beast alone. Seeing Dragonite burst out with the strength of the peak of the master, Zhu Hong was dumbfounded. This is the Flame Emperor. And, just help me to scout the formation. Zhu Mu was very calm, not at all panicked. It's just a mythical beast, it's not like he hasn't fought before. Dragonite, are you ready? I'm ready. SpongeBob's own imagination. Okay, I'm ready. Then let's go. Start with Dragon Dance. Dragonite, fight violence with violence. Zhu Mu shouted loudly, standing on the ground, his eyes fixed on the Flame Emperor in front of him, feeling that something seemed to be wrong. But this kind of wrongness is still unclear. It's that kind of inexplicable intuition. It's as if the Flame Emperor in front of him is not necessarily the Flame Emperor, it's something else that is preventing him from taking Celebi away. Damn, dog system, is it you who did this? Chapter 139, Fighting Yen Emperor again, not Yen Emperor. Ding. Please don't slander the system. Ding. Special mission triggered. Please defeat the Yen Emperor in front of you and reveal the truth of this mythical beast incident. Reward: a Flash Leave King. The dog system appeared. It also cooperated to issue a task, confirming Zhu Mu's guess. This Yen Emperor is definitely not an ordinary Yen Emperor. There is a problem. Hand over that egg, human. Yen Emperor roared in a low voice, like a Tibetan mastiff about to bite someone, and began to threaten Zhu Mu. Zhu Mu can be afraid of you, are you kidding? After all, he is a man who has abused mythical beasts, and the miserable situation of Articuno is still vivid in his mind. Now a Yen Emperor who looks like nothing wants to threaten Zhu Mu. Do you think it's possible? Hand you over. Damn. Dragonite, let him see what a man's fist is. Zhu Mu roared, and Dragonite moved in response, directly entangled with Yen Emperor, and the collision of power and power caused the air to generate huge heat due to friction. Yandy is not a pushover either. Although the true identity of Yandy has not been confirmed, Zhu Mu has discovered that his true strength should be in the early stage of the Supreme. When fighting with Dragonite, which has been enhanced by Dragon Dance, he is not at a disadvantage at all. Just when Dragonite was fighting Yandy, the uninvited guests came. A group of masked men in black suddenly appeared not far away, and Zhu Hong became nervous instantly. Zhu Mu had dealt with this group of guys last time, so he naturally saw at a glance that these hiding men in black were the same group as before. Zhu Hong's brows knitted instantly when he heard this. No, these guys are not as good as Team Rocket. At least Team Rocket dares to go against the Alliance in a big way. These guys are just some moles hiding in the dark. Zhu Hong's disgust for evil organizations is 100%. Before she became the Dean of Xian Yang Academy, she had always been a venerable fighting on the front line. Some things, she knows much more than Zhu Mu. Team Rocket. Zhu Mu heard the name again and subconsciously asked, is Team Rocket the evil organization led by Sakaki? Who is Sakaki? Zhu Hong was puzzled. She had never heard of this person. We still don't know the leader of Team Rocket, but I don't know the Sakaki you are talking about. Zhu Mu nodded, not quite understanding. Since this world is not the original world of the anime, then this Team Rocket may not be the Team Rocket in the original. Well, it doesn't matter, and, can you stop these bastards from now? When Zhu Mu asked this, Zhu Hong instantly got angry. What do you mean you can? Zhu Mu, look at me. I am an invincible trainer above the venerable. After the peak of the trainer, there are the King of Heaven, the venerable, and the invincible. There are no more than 100 people in this world who have reached the level of your aunt. Zhu Hong said proudly and released her own Pokémon. Since we have encountered Owl, fighting is inevitable. Zhu Mu, Just focus on dealing with Emperor Yan. If these bastards from the Zhao organization disturb you, I will lose. I will never mention this invincible title again." After that, Zhu Hong directly summoned his 6 elves in a team and stalked all the people from the Zhao organization not far away. The people of the Zhu family are never afraid of fighting. The people of the Zhu family can always win with fewer people. They are just a group of villains. What is there to be afraid of? Zhu Mu was shocked by Zhu Hong's words. Indeed, even a woman is so bold. How can I be timid? Come on, Emperor Yan, I will deal with you first, and then let those bastards from the Zhao organization experience what a nightmare is. In fact, although Zhu Hong's strength is an invincible trainer, all the elves have reached the level of the head. However, facing the situation where all the elites are out this time, and even the leader of the Zhao organization is here in person, Zhu Hong did talk big. Fuck, 3 venerables, 2 invincibles? I thought the opponent was a group of minions, but I didn't expect that the opponent was a group of kings. When Zhu Hong fought with the opponent, she was completely dumbfounded. Just now, she rushed up with great righteousness and told Zhu Mu that disturbing him was incompetence. As a result, is it too late to ask for help now? No. This is coming out in full force. No face left. Zhu Hong's face turned green. How can I fight this? It's originally 1 against 5, and you are all strong people with similar strength to me. This is unreasonable. Zhu family, there is no coward. I will fight. Gritting her teeth, Zhu Hong didn't think about it anymore, roared, and it was over. Zhu family, reckless man. Charge. You girl, you really can't keep your temper. Well, let me teach you a lesson. I haven't fought with the barbarians of the Zhu family for a long time. The leading man in black is the contemporary leader of Zhao. His voice was old, and he looked like an elder. He said to Zhu Hong in a tone of teaching, "Go to hell with you barbarians. Your whole family is barbarians. Dare to insult our Zhu family, you're dead." Zhu Hong was reckless, but she was not a pure reckless man. If she saw that she couldn't beat the other person in a fight, under normal circumstances, she wouldn't have to fight. But because of Zhu Mu, she couldn't retreat now, not even a step. So, talking nonsense became the most effective way to delay time. Haha, little girl, don't think about delaying time. We are determined to get this Yan Emperor. The leader of the Owl saw through Zhu Hong's thoughts at a glance, smiled contemptuously, and then said, "Everyone, take action, kill this girl first, and then subdue the Yan Emperor." With an order, the 5 strong men of the Owl attacked at the same time. Zhu Hong's pressure increased instantly, and her 2 elves lost their fighting ability in an instant. Seeing the crisis, Zhu Hong glanced at Zhu Mu, who was concentrating on fighting the Yan Emperor, and gritted her teeth secretly. Blazing Chicken, Mega Evolve. Come on, you bunch of parasites. We in the Zhu family can only die standing, not live on our knees. Blazing Chicken, charge over. Flame Kick. Kick these bastards over. A do-or-die battle. Even if we die here today, we must buy enough time for Zhu Mu. Zhu Mu is the only male of this generation in our Zhu family. He is the hope of our Zhu family. No accidents can happen, even if I die. With the mentality of dying in battle, Zhu Hong fought hard. Mega Blaziken seemed to sense the trainer's psychology. Its whole body was burning with flames, and it rushed into the enemy's encirclement like a missile. Flame Kick. Don't make any more useless struggles. Today, both of your Zhu family's juniors must stay here. Entei and Lugia, we are determined to win. Chapter 140 Zhu Mu's 7 Ants. When the villain says something like this, it usually means that the protagonist has a chance to turn the tables. As the taunting of the leader of the Owl ended, 6 voices rang out from all directions at the same time. How could our Zhu family stay here? Owl, you finally show your head. Die, you bastard. If you want to kill my nephew, you must first get past me. Zhu Cheng, big sister, we are here. Don't be afraid. Zhao Mu, your aunt is here. 6 beautiful women, as beautiful as flowers, landed from the air in their own flying elves. Among them, Zhu Qingqing, who was riding the ice and snow dragon, was the most anxious. She was the aunt with the deepest blood relationship with Zhu Mu. Seeing Zhu Mu in crisis, she was naturally anxious. Seeing her 6 sisters arrive, the situation reversed instantly, and Zhu Hong finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, They arrived in time. Hee hee hee, what about now? Zhu Hong sneered, looked at the leader of the owl, and asked with gritted teeth, weren't you crazy just now? Aren't there more people than you? Aren't you going to kill us? What about now? I originally called my sisters here because I wanted everyone to meet Zhangmu and get together. I didn't expect that you, a brainless person, would rush into the muzzle of a gun. Come on, now all the barbarians of our Zhu family are here, let's see who you can kill. Zhu Hong gradually became irritable, pointing at the leader of Zhao and sneering. The appearance of Emperor Yan caused a huge phenomenon. At this time, many trainers were also rushing from all directions. When they saw the 7 peerless goddesses confronting 5 masked men in black, they almost subconsciously chose to stand on the side. Do you still need to think about it? You can think about which side to stand on with your lower body. Everyone, don't interfere. This is our Zhu family's business. Zhu King stood on the back of the ice and snow dragon and stopped some hot-blooded young people. Now sent all the high-end combat forces this time. If these trainers are allowed to participate in the battle, I am afraid that it will cause a lot of losses. Moreover, once there are more people, it is easy for Zhao's group of old thieves to take advantage of the chaos and run away, or use these trainers as shields. Besides, it is hard to say whether there are owl or other underground organizations among these trainers who are watching. In short, since the Zhu family now has the upper hand, don't let other people in easily to avoid accidents. At the same time, Chiao and others also rushed to the scene. Zhu family girls, don't worry about fighting. I will personally lead the battle for you, and no one dares to interfere with your fight. As soon as Chiao said this, the trainers present were even more obedient. Although it was a bit unmanly to watch 7 beauties fighting with the bad guys, there was no way. The chief had spoken. At this time, whoever disobeyed would definitely be beaten like a wolf. Thank you, Uncle Zhao. Zhu Hong thanked the 7 sisters on behalf of them, and then looked at the 5 senior members of the Zhao organization in front of them and said with a smile, are you idiots? Do you really think that our Eastern Venerable and Invincible Trainer are vegetarians when you fight in the real world? Or are you already prepared to go to the border after the robbery? Then I have to say, my eldest brother is guarding the border. If you dare to kill me and Zhangmu and then go to the border, what's the difference between that and seeking death? Zhu Hong's words were pure murder. Not only did they block the retreat of Zhao and his men, but they also fully demonstrated the power of the Zhu family to the outside world. Although the old man is gone, our Zhu family has not fallen yet. The eldest son of the Zhu family is guarding the border. The eldest grandson of the Zhu family is a super genius who can fight against the supreme beast in the early stage. In the future, when you see someone from our Zhu family, be careful when you speak and be respectful. Zhao and his men looked at each other in silence, watching themselves being surrounded and having no chance to escape. The leader of the Zhao family spoke, little girl from the Zhu family, let's not talk so early. How do you know that I don't have a backup plan? Well, let's wait for the boy to finish fighting with Emperor Yan, and then I'll talk to him. I believe he will decide to let us go. He seemed to have some trump card, which was specifically aimed at Zhumyu. Hearing his words, the 7 ants frowned at the same time. Zhu King said coldly, if you have anything to say it now, otherwise I will be rude. Yes, you say it now, don't do those tricks, otherwise I will light a sky lantern for you first. Following Zhu King, a beautiful woman in black combat clothes spoke, her name is Zhu Lana, Zhumyu's 6th aunt. Seeing the 2 beauties threatening him like this, the leader of the owls was not panicked at all. He said calmly, you can do it. If you want to do it now, I won't resist. That's right, think about it, little girl. If you kill me now, it may cause lifelong harm to Zhumyu. Ha ha ha, do you dare to bet? Do you want to kill me now? As he said that, he laughed arrogantly. This look of asking for a beating made the surrounding trainers grit their teeth. Threatening beautiful women, are you still a man? Such a beautiful woman, you can actually do it. It's too much, let go of those beauties, let me do it. It's a bit crooked, wait. Anyway, these trainers who were watching were furious, and they wanted to rush up and give the leader of the owl a hard slap. Let him know why the flowers are so red. Just when everyone was filled with righteous indignation, Zhu Hong moved. Bang! Zhu Hong walked in front of the leader of the owl and slapped him hard on the face. People in our Zhu family are not threatened. This slap was loud. The leader was stunned. What happened? What did I go through? I was beaten by a woman. Good fight. This is our Qinsheng Xian Yang College Dean. Goddess Zhu Hong. Dean Zhu is domineering. Dean Zhu is as good as a man. So handsome. The crowd cheered, and at the same time they were shocked. This is the legendary Zhu family. How do they act too domineering? If you don't accept the threat, just slap it. Let you be crazy, and then slap you again. Slap you until you cry. I give you this opportunity. Since you want to talk to Zhao, then talk. Zhao is the only male in our Zhu family here now, and he is also our boss. You wait for me honestly now. Don't talk nonsense. If you say one more word, I will pull out your tongue. Zhu Hong said viciously, regardless of the shocked and angry look of the leader, turned around and returned to the sister team, and set his sights on Zhu Mu, who was fighting with Emperor Yan. Zhao, you must win, and he believes in you. Chapter 141 The True Identity of Emperor Yan. The Owl organization was controlled, and Zhu Mu was relieved to see this, and he focused on commanding Dragonite to fight against the Yandy who was firing at full power. Avoid its trampling. Use speed to circle around him. Find an opportunity to use Dragon Star Cluster to disrupt his attack rhythm. Zhu Mu's command is always like an art. Dragonite, who is not as strong as Yandy, can still deal with it with ease in a disadvantageous situation. Even if Yandy used the ultimate move Holy Flame several times, it was useless. Instead, he consumed his own physical strength in vain, which was not worth the loss. After several battles and many gym battles, Zhu Mu's command level is naturally rising, and he is no longer the one who could only bully the weak. Facing the powerful Yandy, Zhu Mu kept commanding Dragonite to dodge, and found opportunities to use Dragon Dance to strengthen himself. With a roar, Dragonite used Dragon Star Cluster, and several meteors fell from the sky, and the target of the meteors was Yandy on the ground. The reason why Zhu Mu asked Dragonite to use Dragon Star Cluster, a powerful move that consumes physical strength, is very simple, which is to interfere with Yandy's vision. Then continue. Dragon Dance. Dragonite did not hesitate at all. Even though he had just used Dragon Star Cluster and was panting at this time, he still dragged his tired body to dance. The effective time of the previous runaway and reverse scale has ended. Now Dragonite is almost the same as Yandy in terms of physical strength. Everyone has suffered huge losses. Now it depends on who can find the right opportunity to give the opponent a fatal blow. To put it bluntly, the battle has reached this point, and it is already a situation where one move determines the outcome. Seeing Dragon Star Cluster, Yandy used the Miki without hesitation to avoid this powerful skill. When he looked up and found that Dragonite was strengthening himself with Dragon Dance, he quickly sprayed flames to try to stop Dragonite. However, Dragonite directly took advantage of the acceleration provided by Dragon Dance to avoid it and continued to dance. When Zhu Belong fights, in addition to violence, there is also Silky. Dragonite used the water waves to disrupt the rhythm of Emperor Yan first, and then activate the rampage and reverse scales for the final blow. Zhu Mu said to Dragonite with telepathy. With the power of Super Conquer, Zhu Mu's command has gradually begun to move towards layout. By predicting the opponent's attack method, the corresponding advance arrangements are made. Just like now, Zhu Mu predicts that Emperor Yan's move must be the Holy Flame, because Dragonite has been strengthened by Dragon Dance many times. Now just looking at the attack power, it is not inferior to him. If Dragonite is given a chance to get close, it is likely to cause fatal damage to Emperor Yan, so the Holy Flame, a long-range killing move, is a skill that Emperor Yan will definitely use. Similarly, because of the previous physical consumption, Emperor Yan can no longer use the Holy Flame instantly. Dragonite uses the water waves, a skill that is not too powerful, but can take the lead and cause the effect of interruption. Sure enough, as Dragonite's Dragon Dance ended, it made a gesture of preparing to rush over and fight Emperor Yan. Emperor Yan decisively chose the Holy Flame. Now, as Zhu Mu shouted this, Dragonite also threw out the condensed water wave. Using the skill before Yandy, Yandy had to give up the plan of using the Sacred Flame, and jump to avoid the water wave. After all, It was a water skill. If Yandy was hit directly by this move, it would definitely be uncomfortable. Although it was not fatal, it was inevitable that his physical strength would be exhausted. Dragonite, charge, runaway plus reverse scale. Dragonite roared, and his whole body was covered with red light. Super God Dragonite reappeared in the arena. Automatically activated at a super speed, Dragonite rushed to Yandy like lightning, and before he could react, hit Yandy with one punch. The battle is over. Xiaomu is awesome, hahaha. With the style of Big Brother, our zoo family has a chance to rise. I must find Xiaomu a few more girlfriends, like his grandfather, to revive the former glory of our zoo family. Speaking of marrying more wives and reviving the family, do you think of a certain Akaya idiot? The ants hugged each other excitedly when they saw Zumu's victory. The hug of these 7 big beauties with explosive bodies instantly blinded the eyes of countless men around them. The zoo family's genes for beauty are amazing. Oh my god, isn't it? Zumu was just about to get to know the ants, but when he turned around, he found that Yandy stood up intact. How is this possible? At the same time, everyone opened their mouths in surprise. It's unreasonable. Didn't Yandy lose his strength and fainted? Chifa looked at Yandy strangely, as if he remembered something, and exclaimed, "This is not Yandy, this is..." Before he could finish, a purple crack appeared in the sky. This crack was like a transmission channel, sending out a Suicune and Urku. Zumu was completely dumbfounded. Something was wrong. This was definitely wrong. Hand over Celebi. The 3 sacred beasts roared and threatened Zumu, and the situation became psychedelic again. I know, you are mysterious totems. Thinking of his previous life, it seemed that only mysterious totems had this strange spatial ability, and these guys liked to merge into sacred beasts the most. Zumu then realized that the one he had just fought was not Yandy, but these mysterious totems who wanted to see Celebi's elf egg. Do you want to get Celebi's ability to travel through time? Zumu asked again. After being exposed, the mysterious totem finally stopped hiding. A mysterious totem in the shape of a question mark flew out of the space crack, and he floated to Zumu. Since you know our identity, then hand over Celebi obediently. Human, don't. He didn't finish his words either. I saw Greninja throw a water shuriken in his face. Cool. We in the zoo family don't accept threats from anyone, good fellow, Zumu thought. You finally changed your lines. But the next second, Greninja posed as Zumu expected. Cool. Readers, please continue your own words, so as not to accuse me of wasting words. It's Greninja. Is it the descendant of Big Brother's Greninja? It's definitely the little guy back then. He likes to show off like his father does. Hahaha, with him around, Xiaomu should be fine. The ants talked at once, while Zumu frowned. When will this guy's second-year syndrome be cured? Greninja, Dragonite, Charizard, get ready for battle. Chapter 142 Zumu vs the 3 Sacred Beasts. System: use the healing potion on Dragonite, and then give each of the 3 of them an experience card. The system didn't waste any words. Zumu spoke up, so it arranged it directly. Ding! The healing potion was used successfully, and Dragonite's physical strength was fully restored. Ding! Dragonite's peak experience card expired, and a new peak experience card was used. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the special mission and learning the true identity of Emperor Yan. The host is rewarded with a quick home scroll. The quick home scroll allows the user to teleport directly home, a one-time item. Zumu was a little confused. Why did you give me this item? Go home. Wouldn't it be nice if I took a plane home? However, Zumu thought that the main problem to be solved at the moment was the problem of the 3 sacred beasts, so he didn't bother to worry about why the dog system gave him this thing. Greninja, Bond Transformation, Charizard, Mega Evolution, Dragonite. Just continue the dragon dance. With 3 consecutive commands, Zumu directly declared war on the mysterious totem. You guys still want to snatch Celebi's egg from me? Are you kidding? Human, you are going against us. You have to think about it. Suicune threatened, but unexpectedly, Greninja threw a water shuriken at his face. Cool, shut up. I've said it before, the zoo family doesn't accept threats from anyone. After the Bond's transformation, Greninja didn't know why. He just looked at this Suicune and was very displeased. Apart from anything else, this Suicune looks like a guy who can be conquered with one ball. What are you yelling about? Book friends who like Suicune, please don't spray, you will understand after watching the journey. Suicune was beaten and looked confused, and then he was furious. With his feet on the wind, Suicune killed Greninja without saying a word. After all, he is a sacred beast, and Suicune was angry when a shuriken was thrown in front of him. Then, when he rushed to Greninja, Suicune was dumbfounded. Dozens of Greninjas had surrounded him at this time, and every 2 Greninjas had a super large water shuriken in their hands. It is exactly a super large spiral water shuriken. Greninja, take your time to grind him down. You are all water types, so it won't hurt that much when you hit him. Be careful of his psychic skills, and focus on a protracted battle. Zumu said, turning his gaze to Charizard. Charizard vs. Thunder God. The Mega-Evolved Charizard X is a fire and dragon type. Without the weakness of the flying type, Charizard can almost defeat Thunder God all the way. Although Thunder God has the strength of the early Supreme. But, so what? Zumu's elves always fight with the weak to defeat the strong. What? You said bullying. It doesn't exist. Anyway, Charizard, never bully the weak in the novice village. Only a dragon as awesome as me can do such a thing. Roar. You can't. Shaking his finger, Charizard's nose twitched, with a proud look on his face. Thunder God was furious at that time. Although I am a mysterious totem, you can't look down on me like this. After all, I am a sacred beast. Can you give me some face? Riku was about to get angry, but when he saw Suicune not far away, he wilted. Suicune was surrounded by Greninja, pinned to the ground and hammered. Cool. Let me ask you, what is 999 times 1111? Suicune was stunned. Greninja ignored him and continued. 3, 2, 1, 0. Wrong answer. Reward you with a big bomb. Boom. An extremely huge, super large jade water spiral shuriken hit Suicune's face. Cool. Let me ask you again. What is 23 times 23 666? 3, 2, 1, 0. Suicune still didn't know the answer, and as expected, another super large jade water spiral shuriken hit his face. Suicune was directly autistic. Also, the next question, please listen to the question. What is 555 times 555? Suicune collapsed. Don't ask me anymore. I'm not good at math. Cool. You're not good at math and you're so confident. You deserve to be beaten. 2 big bombs. Boom, boom. 2 consecutive super large jade water spiral shuriken hit Suicune's face again without any explanation. Suicune was already confused. Didn't we agree to fight? Why did he start answering questions when he didn't agree? Seeing this, Dragonite laughed immediately. Ask him something simple. This arithmetic question is too difficult. Ask him within 100. Dr. Dragon looked at Suicune with disdain, meaning that such a high-level multiplication, how could a small mysterious totem like you be able to calculate correctly? Cool. Okay, listen to Dragonite. Let's do a simple one. Please listen to the question. There are 7 birds on the tree. If you shoot down 1 bird, how many birds are left? Suicune didn't want to be hit again, so he quickly worked his brain to think about the answer to the question. 7 minus 1 equals 6. There are 6 left. Bang! With a loud bang, a super large jade water spiral shuriken hit Suicune's face again. At this time, his face was already swollen and was hit by water like a stray dog. Cool. Wrong answer. I said riding a bird. Do you understand riding? Forget it. I guess you don't understand. You are just a thing to be ridden. Too lazy to say more. Greninja continued to torture. Not far away, Zukinking's Pokeball suddenly began to shake violently. Obviously, Articuno saw Greninja, and the fear from his soul made him tremble involuntarily. Social Frog, the judge of the mythical beast, is confirmed. Dragonite, you should know how to fight Yandy. This time you can play freely. After Zumu said to Dragonite, he didn't know where to take out a small stool and a bag of melon seeds. Sitting aside, he began to watch Greninja interrogate Suicune. Cool. Come on. Continue answering questions. Don't play dead. Hurry up. I know that the water shuriken can't kill you, You get up quickly. Please listen to the question. The little girl selling matches has 6 matches in her hand. She meets a boy selling abalone and he cheats her out of 3 matches. How many matches does the little girl have left? Suicune was dumbfounded, but in order to avoid being beaten, he hurried to think. There are 3 left. 6 minus 3 equals 3. Bang! Another loud noise. Cool. Are you a pig? How could the boy selling abalone cheat people and only cheat 3 matches? He must have cheated all of them from the little girl, Greninja said angrily, and asked again. Cool. Now listen, the little girl weighed 60 kilograms before. After the boy cheated all of her matches, how many kilograms did she weigh? Suicune thought about it and buried his head in his arms decisively. You hit me. Who knows what the boy selling abalone will do to the little girl? Greninja suddenly stopped his hands from hitting down, and after thinking for a second, he slowly said, what you said this time seems to make some sense. You are right. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143, Leader Ral's Trump Card. Charizard snorted sullenly when he saw Greninja playing like this. He thought that in a fight, it was best to fight quickly and defeat the opponent with all your strength. Otherwise, there would always be more troubles and accidents would inevitably happen. Although Greninja's fighting style of torturing the opponent's mentality to the point of collapse was also good, Charizard thought he couldn't use it. Roar! Spray flames. I'll spray flames again. Are you so tanky? Did you get the Overlord reload? I'll spray flames again. Oh my god, you haven't fainted yet? Look at me switching to physical attacks. Dragon Claw. Similar to Suicune, Riku's strength was completely no match for Charizard after a Mega Evolution and then using the Experience card. Because of the mysterious totem that continuously provides energy, Riku will not be easily defeated. Faced with such a meat shield with almost unlimited physical strength, Charizard did not choose Greninja's fighting style, but kept attacking, wanting to end the battle as soon as possible. But, although he didn't mean to kill people and destroy their hearts, he had already done the work of whipping the corpse. Seeing that Legong was burnt black all over, but still did not faint, Charizard was really rude. I just spray. You know what barbecue is? I just burn. From time to time, I would go up and use the Dragon Claw to make some changes to the meat, so that it would not be roasted thoroughly and the meat would not be tasty. Legong had no power to fight back at this time. The whole elf burned by Charizard was completely numb and had no desire to fight. There is a saying that if you try to plant flowers, they will not bloom, but if you plant willows by accident, they will grow into a shade. I know you are going to ask about the word plant. Don't ask, I will say it myself. I can't get into it. Charizard wanted to resolve the battle quickly and kept attacking Legong, but he never thought that he would become the person he hated the most. He accidentally killed Legong and broke his mentality. Roar? Speak. Aren't you a divine beast? Are you so fragile? Aren't you very meaty? Hey, 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 don't go, don't. Finally, Legong and Suicune were overwhelmed, and without saying a word, they fled back to the space crack and would never come out again. And Yendi, because Suicune and Legong, 2 stupid teammates, ran away, he will face the situation of being besieged by 3 elves, Charizard, Greninja, and Dragonite at the same time. Because of the recovery of the mysterious totem, Yandy will never fall, which just gives Xubalong the opportunity to play. When the high temperature of fire bakes an object to red, and then uses water to suddenly cool it down, it may cause an explosion. Let's try it. Cool. Okay, I'll use the Shadow Clone to hold him down to prevent him from running around. Red Lizard, you roast first. Roar. Wait for me to use the Dragon Claw to change it into a knife, otherwise it won't be roasted through. Well, Charizard finally bowed to reality. He has always been cautious, but now he also feels the joy of killing people. Seeing that Zumu's 3 elves were about to conduct a blasting test on himself, Yandy panicked. Let me go. I won't bother you again, human. We don't want Celebi's eggs. Zumu saw Yandy begging for mercy. He smiled. Dragonite, There's nothing wrong with your approach, but Yandi is alive, so he can't cause an explosion. Well, try the Buddhist scriptures you just learned. I heard that Buddhist scriptures can influence sentient beings. You can recite them to him. Dragonite saw Zumu say this, and it made sense. Anyway, I just learned the Great Compassion mantra, so I just took it out and tried it. But, Zumu, I stutter when I read the Buddhist scriptures. Zumu laughed out loud. Stuttering is good. Stuttering can make the effect of influence more real. If you don't believe it, try it. Dragonite heard this, half believing and half doubting. Greninja, help me hold him down. Don't let him run around. Cool, got it? Don't worry, he will definitely listen to you recite the scriptures. Regarding Dragonite's Great Compassion mantra, Greninja said that it was so beautiful that it could make fish sink to the bottom of the water, geese fall to the ground, and the moon hide in shame. There is nothing in this world that Dragonite's Great Compassion mantra cannot destroy. Using the water balls as earplugs, Greninja quickly blocked his ears, and then used the shadow clone to control Anti. He signaled Dragonite to start. Namo, Namo Namo, Guan, Guanian, Great Compassion. As Dragonite's stuttering voice slowly sounded, Entei was stunned on the spot. Help, help me, someone save me. Kill the Pokémon, someone save me. It is said that the trainers present that day heard Entei's telepathy. The fear from the depths of the soul made the trainers curious about what Entei had experienced. Some people said that you didn't see it. Entei seemed to have a brain disease. Because he didn't want to submit to humans, he actually blew himself up directly. When Zumu watched the Entei who couldn't bear the humiliation self-destruct, he slowly spit out the melon seed shells in his mouth. He stood up and looked at the 5 members of the Owl organization on the side. Do you have anything to say? If not, go to hell. Showing a kind smile, Zumu looked at the leader of the Owl and said harmlessly. This huge contrast made the leader of the Owl almost doubt whether the young man in front of him had schizophrenia. However, when life and death were at stake, he didn't have time to think so much. You want to kill me, don't you want to think about your mother? When he said this, Zumu was stunned. My mother? The leader of the Owl smiled triumphantly. Yes, your mother. Do you think there are only 5 of us left in our Owl? Let me tell you, kid, we have already investigated your information. Your mother is just an ordinary person who is powerless. All our members have surrounded your home half an hour ago. Ha 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 ha. Maybe your mother is in the hands of my subordinates now. Do you dare to kill me now? The leader of the Owl laughed arrogantly. He had arranged everything long ago. Otherwise how could he dare to appear in the real world to make trouble? If you come out to play with your life without a way out, that is to seek death. Zumu looked at Chiao in shock. The smile on his face gradually disappeared, replaced by a hideous look. Swish. The scroll was opened, and Zumu returned home without saying a word. He had a hunch that it was definitely in time to go home now. Chiao, who had been standing by, naturally heard what Chiao said, and his eyes turned blood red in an instant. Everyone, all the troops of the Alliance, trainers above the level of Heavenly King, all rushed to Feng Cheng. Dare to touch my daughter, damn it. No, I will bloodbath everyone in your organization today. Feng Cheng is directly sealed. No one is allowed to enter or leave without my order. Chiao roared, and his voice resounded through the clouds, causing everyone present to tremble. The anger of the chief, the anger of the emperor, blood flowed for thousands of miles. Chapter 144, Zu's mother's strength is finally exposed. Zu's mother, who was humming a song while doing housework at home, never dreamed that a group of thugs in black clothes would rush into the house and try to kidnap her and make her a hostage to check and balance Zumu. Don't ask why there are endless housework. Who are you? When a group of thugs broke into the house, Zu's mother's face showed only a flash of panic, and then asked calmly, Miss Xiao, we invite you to go. Xiao is the name of Zu's mother. Oh, invite me to go? Where to? Xiao put down the mop in her hand, sat on the sofa beside her naturally, crossed her legs, and looked at the group of black-clad people in a relaxed posture. I can't tell you this for the time being, please cooperate. The person who spoke was the deputy leader of Zhao, who was also an invincible trainer. Seeing this, Xiao spread her hands. I'm sorry, I have to wait for my son to come home, so I can't go with you, Yu said, and shook her head at the deputy leader. Judging from this posture, the Zhao organization probably doesn't know the true identity of Zhu's mother and thinks she is just an ordinary woman. Seeing Yu's refusal to cooperate, the deputy leader waved his hand and said simply, "Take her away by force." However, just when his subordinates wanted to step forward to grab Zhu's mother, with a bang, a Pokémon appeared from the Pokeball. Gardevoir. "Huh, really? I still have to trouble you in the end," Yu exclaimed softly, expressing her helplessness. "It's really uncomfortable to be forced to expose my identity for many years after hiding my identity." Senai, it's okay, let's deal with these bad guys first." Gardevoir smiled softly, turned around, and the smile on her face disappeared instantly, replaced by a frosty face. "You bad guys, you disturbed Yu's quiet life. You all have to die." The light of telekinesis flashed, and Gardevoir used a mental power to control all these black-clothed people, not even giving them the opportunity to release their Pokémons, and directly locked the Pokeball with telekinesis. "Don't expect to jump out by yourself." Gardevoir is the peak of the leader. It's too easy to control a group of elves who are in the early stage of the leader and those who haven't reached the leader. The situation reversed instantly. Gardevoir waved her hand and controlled all the black-clothed people together without saying anything. And then, bang! With an explosion, Zhumyu's house, along with these black-clothed people, became history. "Xiaosha, you are too strong, my home." Seeing this, Yu did not feel sorry for these black-clothed people, but complained bitterly. Gardevoir also scratched his head embarrassedly. Sorry, Yu, I haven't fought for a long time, and I can't control my strength." Just when Yu and Gardevoir were talking, Zhumyu arrived. A flash of light, Zhumyu stood in his home that had become a ruin. His eyes were red in an instant. Mom. Although Zhu's mother was not his biological mother, after coming to this world, Zhu's mother treated him the same as her own son. Zhumyu's heart already had a place for Zhu's mother. Seeing the house turned into ruins and the small family of the past becoming history, Zhumyu couldn't stop crying. Men don't cry easily, but they just haven't been sad yet. When his mother in this life was killed, Zhumyu finally couldn't hold it back. Tears fell in large numbers, and in his mind, Zhumyu couldn't help but recall the scenes he had experienced with Zhu's mother. "Son, this is sent to you by your father, saying it's a gift for you to become an adult." The door of the room was slowly pushed open, and a middle-aged woman with a few wrinkles on her face stood at the door. "Hurry up and pack up, and I'll take you to the hatching house to pick out an elf egg." The mother smiled gently and urged Zhumyu softly. "Hello, Greninja. Since we have Greninja, there's really no need to go to the hatching house." "Then you sit down and I'll cook for you." "Mom, I want to drop out of school." "Okay, then I'll contact your teacher now." "It's okay. If you really don't want to go to school, I'll ask for leave for you. As long as you are happy, I'll do whatever you want." Zhu's mother still smiled gently and said softly, "Mom doesn't have much ability, but I can still make my son live happily." In Zhumyu's impression, Yu is just an ordinary mother. She only has her son in her eyes, and can't tolerate anyone else. Even if she learned about Zhumyu's cheap father, Yu's first concern was Zhumyu's safety in Qingpan Forest, not that man. This ordinary housewife seems to have lived for Zhumyu all her life. Without a home or a husband, she is fearless, strong and brave. But once Zhumyu has any problems, she will become the strongest warrior and become Zhumyu's strongest backing. Some things, I didn't understand when I was a child, and children don't understand them either. But Zhumyu is not a child anymore. A mother like Yu is the most ordinary and yet most ordinary mother in the world. The love she gives to Zhumyu is the purest and most selfless love. "Mom, I was wrong. I shouldn't mess around outside. If I wasn't so arrogant, you wouldn't be implicated by me." "What kind of shitty trainer is it? You've offended so many people. What's the point of being so powerful outside? Isn't it that you can't even protect your own family?" "No. You're done." "I'm going to." Zhumyu knelt on the ground and cried bitterly. Now he wanted to tear all of the people of Zhang to pieces. "However, son, Mom is still here. Don't cry, Mom is here. Yu stood behind Zumu with tears on her face. One hand gently rested on Zumu's shoulder. This hand used to be as delicate and white as those girls, but now it has become a little wrinkled, even ugly. Life and Zumu have turned Yu from that rich princess into a housewife. However, even in the life of a housewife, as long as Zumu is there, Yu still feels extremely happy. What Yu wanted most was that Zumu could grow up safely. As for herself, she no longer cared. What if he kept his name secret? What if he lived an ordinary life? Mom. Looking at Yu in surprise, Zumu turned around and rushed into Yu's arms. Great. It's great that you're okay. Zumu almost shouted this sentence. He hugged Yu tightly and breathed a sigh of relief. Great. It's great that you're okay. However, Zumu soon noticed that there was a Gardevoir standing next to Yu. Isn't Mother an ordinary person? How could there be an elf? Mom, what's going on? What is this Gardevoir? Zumu asked with some confusion. Yu smiled helplessly at this. That's it. Some things can't be hidden. She should tell Zumu. Chapter 145, the family's grandson Zumu. Son, have you met Chief? Yu didn't know where to start, so she pulled Zumu to sit on the side of the road and asked softly. Zumu saw that his mother was still as gentle as before, and that watery gaze would not lie. This is his mother, Yu. I have met her. Zumu nodded. Yu continued. He is your grandfather. I know that he must have a relationship with me. Otherwise why would he give me such a strong frog seed? Zumu jumped up from the ground in shock. Good guy, I said. I am definitely a super second generation. The Zhu family is not enough. Now I have a chief grandfather, a chief father-in-law, a chief grandfather, and a legendary big family. How can I say that I have traveled through time to rule the world? About the years when I had to rule the world after traveling through time. Book friends can be calm. I know what you are going to say. I told you in advance. Well, it seems that he has forgiven me. Seeing Zumu's attitude, Yu lowered her head and smiled bitterly. Seeing this, Zumu wanted to ask what happened back then, but he didn't know how to start. This was his mother's sad story, and he couldn't let his mother reopen the scars because of his curiosity. But Yu was okay. Seeing Zumu hesitated to speak, she took the initiative to say, what happened back then was a bit complicated, but also quite dramatic. Your father and I are the two best young trainers in the East. No one of our generation can beat us, especially your father, who was born in the Zhu family. He was born a proud son and was invincible all the way. At this point, Yu's eyes showed some light. Obviously, she still loved that man. We were originally a match made in heaven, but because of some accidents, I had to marry someone else. Zumu's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. So you and my father eloped? Yu nodded and said a little embarrassedly, well, then we were hunted down crazily by the East Earth Alliance and the forces behind that man. At that time, the world was still peaceful, and everyone was deceived by that man. After your father and I escaped from the hunt again and again, we finally stopped in Fengcheng because I was pregnant. Zumu listened solemnly, not daring to be distracted. These things may very likely involve the mysterious border. Yes, you should know the border. The war on the border is related to that man. After settling in Fengcheng, that person used me as an excuse to start a war. The East Earth suffered heavy casualties without any preparation. Zumu swallowed his saliva. Then my father came forward and turned the tide? Yu looked at Zumu in surprise and asked in confusion, you know? Zumu shook his head. I don't know, but I can guess. It's written like this in the novel. I know what you are going to say. Yu smiled bitterly and continued, yes, your father came forward and turned the tide, drove the invaders out of the east, and confronted them at the border, and my father, Chief, caused a great loss of the strength of the east because of his wrong judgment at the beginning, and he has always opposed my marriage with your father. Zumu understood. This is why he didn't know that he had a grandfather all these years. It turned out that this old man was embarrassed to admit his mistake. So, the war was going to break out, and the marriage with you was just that person's excuse, a delaying tactic, to interfere with Grandpa. Then, Grandpa was fooled, right? Yu nodded. Zumu was right. If she hadn't been determined to elope with Zumu's father, I'm afraid that the days now should be extremely miserable. Maybe she would have chosen to end her life a long time ago. So, this war has been going on for so many years. Why don't we know about it? Zoomu asked again. Zhao Yu sighed. No, as long as you are a king trainer, you are qualified to know about the war, because this kind of war is different from ordinary wars. It does not require a large amount of cannon fodder, nor does it require soldiers, and it does not require the participation of the entire population. Seeing Zhao Yu say this, Zoomu became even more curious about this so-called border. What kind of place is it that does not require low-level soldiers to fight? Okay, so, Mom, you've worked hard. After saying this solemnly, Zoomu hugged Zhao Yu in his arms so that she could rest her head on his shoulder. A princess, in order for her son to grow up healthily, she has been hiding her identity for 16 years and has been a housewife. She even has to worry about money a lot of the time. She knows a lot of things, but she can't tell anyone, not even a word. She can only hide it from her own son. Zhao Yu is so hard. The only thing that has supported her for so many years is the power of maternal love. If it weren't for Zoomu, Zhao Yu would probably be a female general on the border now, fighting on the battlefield with Zoomu's father. However, for this son, Zhao Yu can only do this. If her identity is exposed, then Zoomu is likely to be assassinated from all sides. We have talked for so long, you should be tired. Let's go. Let's go eat something. Zhao Yu saw that Zoomu was a little damaged, and guessed that her son might have just experienced a big battle. Pulling Zoomu, Zhao Yu wanted to take her to the Alliance Center to rest and eat something. At this time, Qiao arrived. Zhao Yuanyang rode the Pidgeot all the way and flew back to Fengcheng at full speed. When he saw that Zoomyu's house had been razed to the ground, he was completely dumbfounded. Tears fell directly. Don't ask him how he knew Zoomyu's family. Zhao Yuanyang has actually been secretly observing the movements of his daughter and grandson over the years. In addition to being embarrassed to admit his mistakes, he was also worried about Zoomyu's safety, so he didn't show up even once. And Zhao Tanyang, the old principal of Fengcheng No. 1 Middle School, is Qiao's cousin, the eldest elder of the Zhao family. It can be said that Zoomyu got the little fire dragon with the help of Qiao in secret. In fact, Qiao has been secretly protecting his daughter all along. Hey, Grandpa, we are here. Don't cry. You look so ugly when you cry. Zoomyu saw the Pidgeot in the air and knew who had arrived, so he quickly waved his hand to signal Zhao Yuanyang to look here. Of course, the second sentence was indeed Zoomyu's true words. Although Zhao Yu dressed up, she was also a top beauty, but in comparison, she seemed to be inferior to Zoomyu's aunts. It seems that the reason why Zhao Yu's appearance is a little worse is because of this Zhao Yuanyang. Bad genes, the old man's sin. Chapter 146. Do I still need to fight for the gym badge? When your father-in-law is the chief of Western Europe, and your grandfather is the chief of the East, you should understand that this world is giving you the green light in many things and many aspects. When Zhao Yuanyang got his daughter's forgiveness, Zhao Yu saw that Zoomyu had really grown up and had the strength to confront the venerable, and she was completely relieved. Son, I'm going to find your father. You must take good care of yourself. Zoomyu looked at Zhao Yu, who was about to leave, and an indescribable emotion arose in his heart. Perhaps, this is the life that a mother should have, but because of herself, she had to become an ordinary housewife for 16 years. Don't worry, Uncle Kyle and my grandfather are here. I'm absolutely safe here. If someone dares to mess with me without eyes, he must be tired of living. Zoomyu smiled carelessly, indicating that Zhao Yu could go to find the cheap dad without worry. Since her and her identities have been semi-publicized, there is no need to continue to hide their names. Moreover, the main reason for being forced to semi-publicize is still due to the old man Zhao Yuanyang. In a rage, he mobilized all the alliance troops and trainers above the king level. Isn't this telling everyone that my daughter was held hostage by Zhao? With this, how can Zhao Yu continue to hide her identity? This is Zhao Yuanyang's fault. But it's good that Zhao Yu left. She can go where she wants to go and do what she wants. Zoomyu is also very happy. As for Zoomyu, an orphan whose parents have all gone to the border, he still has his father-in-law and grandfather. I want to know, Grandpa, how are you going to deal with the 5 people of Zhao? After Zoomyu waited for Zhao Yu to leave, he and Zhao Yuanyang returned to Qincheng all the way. On the way, Zoomyu asked. Zhao Yuanyang smiled. and the wrinkles on his face piled up together. What else can I do? If you can't afford to live, don't live. The traitor of our Zhao family has betrayed the Zhao family for so many years and has done so many evil things. Reaching out his hand and making a beheading gesture, Zumu and Zhao Yuanyang smiled knowingly. The old and the young are like two foxes, inexplicably fitting. After returning to Qincheng, Zhao Yuanyang announced that the leader of the Zhao organization and 5 other people would be beheaded. Afterwards, he made the incident public and announced to the public that Zhao Yu was his daughter. Not only was Zhao Yu not dead, she also had a son. That was Zhao Yuanyang's grandson, Zumu. So far, all of Zumu's life experience has been completely public. Everyone who had known Zumu, or knew Zumu, was shocked. Liu Shao hugged Liu Tizu's thigh, watching TV with snot and tears. Dad, why didn't I follow Zumu back then? This is a golden thigh. If I had hugged Zumu, would our Liu family be worry-free for generations? Liu Tizu was also smoking with regret, and the whole person fell decadently on the recliner. Son, I'm lucky to have him and I'm doomed to fail. Zumu is a rare talent. Dad knew he was extraordinary at first sight. It's a blessing for our Liu family that we can make friends with him and not offend him. Alas, I hope that for the sake of that little Snorlax, Master Zumu can give you some advice in the future. The rich father and son hid in the room, feeling extremely sorry for not being able to hug Zumu's thighs tightly. Similarly, those who knew Zumu at the beginning also looked as if they had seen a ghost. Yu Hailong was watching TV at home when a news report was interrupted on the TV. At noon today, the huge underground evil organization committed crimes in Qincheng, and was defeated head-on by the young hero Zumu of the East. Now, there will be a live broadcast of the leader of Zhao and 5 of his top leaders being beheaded by Chief. After the bloody beheading of the 5 Zhao leaders on TV ended without even mosaics, the reporter continued, it is reported that Zhao Yu, the daughter of Chief who disappeared 16 years ago, has appeared recently. She has a son, who is the young hero who destroyed the Zhao organization today. Zumu. Bang! Yu Hailong, who was watching TV on the sofa, slid to the ground with his butt. The teacup in his hand fell out of his hand and broke into 2 pieces. Zumu, is Chiao's grandson? Me. Yu Hailong opened his mouth in surprise, and the whole person was a sand sculpture. What happened? What happened in this world? Zumu, the kid who won the National High School League with me and kept talking about dropping out of school, turned out to be the grandson of Chief. The old principal Zhao Tanyang also learned about this through the computer at home. Brother, you can finally see your grandson openly. The old principal, who knew everything from the beginning, finally showed a relieved smile at this time. In fact, if Zumu had not had the Greninja sent by his chief father as his initial Pokémon, the dog system would have arranged for Zumu to have an adventure in the hatching house. And after Zumu experienced the adventure in the hatching house, the old principal would also use other excuses to give Zumu a fire-type starter Pokémon in the backyard of his house. In short, Zumu's path was actually arranged from the beginning. Whether it was the old principal, the dog system, or the chief father, with them, Zumu was destined to have an extraordinary life and was destined to become a top trainer. This is probably the trouble of the second generation. Grandson, what are you going to do next? After the grandfather and grandson recognized each other, Zhao Yuanyang was finally able to put down his burden and chat with Zumu about some intimate words. Zumu thought for a moment and said, Uncle Kyle wants me to play in the King of Kings Challenge and the World King of Kings Tournament to become a titled venerable. So I should complete the 16 gyms as soon as possible and collect 16 badges, so that I will be eligible to participate in the King of Kings Challenge in more than a month. Zhao Yuanyang laughed when he heard this. Grandson, you probably don't know how bad your reputation is. Now in the group chat of gym trainers in the East, you are a little bully, and no one is afraid of you. Besides, with such a brilliant record as the extermination of the Zhao organization this time, do you still need to challenge gyms door to door? Zhao Yuanyang finished speaking, smiled mysteriously, and continued, how about this, you rest in Qincheng first, and then wait for these gym trainers to personally deliver the badges to you. Really, my grandson, Zhao Yuanyang, already has the ability to challenge the venerable alone. Does he still need to fight for the gym badges? Zhao Yuanyang's words made Zumu silent instantly. Grandpa, Isn't it inappropriate for us to use external plugins? Chapter 147, The King of Flashing Leaf. According to Zhao Yang's arrangement, Zhu Mu stayed in Xianyang College and lived in the home of his eldest aunt Zhu Hong, waiting for the arrival of the trainers from various gyms. And taking this opportunity, Zhu Mu officially recognized his 7 aunts. In order to avoid the book friends saying that I was watering the word count, the specific names and occupations of the 7 aunts will not be mentioned for the time being, and Zhu Mu will talk about it when he meets them in the future. In a blink of an eye, our little Mu has grown up so big, and this is the first time that Aunt has seen you. Zulu looked at Zhu Mu with a smile, her eyes full of pampering. Zhu Mu scratched his head and smiled foolishly, not knowing what to say for a while. Just kidding. What can you do if you have 7 super beautiful aunts like flowers and jade? Alas, this may be a man's great sorrow. That night, after Zhu Mu and the 7 aunts had a lively dinner at Zhu Hong's house, the physically and mentally exhausted Zhu Mu finally calmed down and could return to his room. Turning on the system, Zhu Mu saw the flashing Leaf King. Elf, Leaf King, Attribute, Ordinary, Strength, Early Heavenly King, Feature, Strongman. Skills, Claw of Collapse, Arm Punch, Punishment, Sleep, Desire, Double Return, Gradual Breakdown. Sign-in mission. 1. Win a victory in the Heavenly King Challenge by carrying or using Leaf King, Fiery Eyes and Golden Pupils. 2. Participate in a Heavenly King level battle by carrying or using Leaf King, 8-9 Mysterious Skills. 3. Participate in a battle in the World Heavenly King Tournament by carrying or using Leaf King, Tong by 8 Bloodline. Sure enough, Leaf King with the Strongman feature is the standard for time travelers. Daily snatching comments from book friends, saying what book friends say, leaving them speechless. After Zhu Mu sighed, he was also a little confused about what Zhao Yang said. The gym trainer took the initiative to give me a badge? Not really, right? Confused, Zhu Mu decided to go to bed first. This day was too tiring. 7 beautiful aunts, mother was almost kidnapped, owl was killed, mysterious totem was overthrown. Zhu Mu felt that this day was as good as the previous year. Sure enough, big things happened wherever he went. The next morning, when Zhu Mu opened his eyes, he calmly swiped his phone for a while, ready to see if there were any new melons in the near future. Not long after, Zhu Mu came to the hall after washing up, ready to see if there was anything to eat. As soon as he left the room, Zhu Mu was shocked. Oh my god! What's going on? I saw that there were dozens of people in different clothes sitting in the hall at this time, because there was no place to sit. Most of them were standing. Zhu Mu's 7 aunts were chatting on the sofa and the main seat at this time, and they didn't care about the existence of these people at all. Zhu Mu walked to Zhu Hong and said with some doubts, "Aunt, who are these people?" Zhu Hong raised her eyebrows and looked at Zhu Qingqing on the side. Zhu Qingqing explained, "They are the gym trainers from our East Land. They heard about your achievements yesterday and destroyed a huge underground organization. They came to visit you, didn't they?" Zhu Mu was completely dumbfounded. The gym trainers really came? No way. Then what's next? Before Zhu Mu could finish thinking, a middle-aged man took the initiative to step forward. "Hello, Master Zhu Mu. I am the trainer of the fighting gym, all you. We have heard about your wonderful deeds at a young age. After our discussion last night, we decided that Master Zhu, you don't need to come to our gym for gym battles anymore. After all, you have been able to defeat the 3 sacred beasts and the record of defeating the Outlaw organization. We have recognized you. This is our gym badge. Master Zhu, please help yourself." As he said that, he put down a large box and waved his hand. Mission accomplished. Retreat. A group of people hurriedly followed him and left Zhu Hong's villa in a crowded manner. Just like that, I have collected enough badges. Zhu Mu stood there in a daze, still a little dazed. After Zhu Qingqing and the others left, she said helplessly, "Zhao Mu, you don't know that your reputation has long been spread throughout our gym trainer group. Last night, they found out that the eldest sister demolished the war gym, and they were dumbfounded at the time. Without saying anything, they made an appointment and decided to send you the badge this morning, fearing that you would challenge their gym again." Zhu Mu was speechless when he heard this. "What do you mean? Now I am hated by everyone. Have I become the kid with glasses who gets into trouble wherever he goes? So, now I can directly participate in the King Challenge? Zumu still didn't understand. It was so easy to accomplish something that others couldn't do in a year or two. This is a bit unreal. Of course, Zumu, don't forget that you are the eldest grandson of our Zu family. Moreover, you have a father-in-law who is the chief of Western Europe and a grandfather who is the chief of the East. Just based on this, they dare not make things difficult for you anymore. Zhu Hong stepped forward to explain, as if she was worried that Zumu didn't understand. She said, they are afraid that you will destroy their gym, which is one thing, but they don't want you to miss the time to prepare for the competition because of running back and forth, which is also an important reason. Zumu thought about it and it seemed to be right. Although the King Challenge is only a group of top trainers, that is, those trainers who have not been awarded the title of king, there are also many geniuses who have practiced hard for many years. This kind of competition must not be ignored, even if Zumu now has the ability to defeat the Venerable head-on. But this does not mean that other players do not have it. How many old guy like Charizard who has not come out for many years and wants to make a splash when he comes out is hoping to make a splash in this King Challenge. Even Zumu dare not say that he will definitely win the championship, as long as he can break into the top 3, then get the title of king, and be qualified to participate in the next World King Tournament, it will be fine. So, they are afraid that my grades will not be good, and Grandpa will vent his anger on them? After listening to Zhu Hong's explanation, Zumu thought that they should not need to be so cautious, right? As for it, isn't it just a competition? Even if Zumu's grades are not good, what does it have to do with them? The gym trainers, ha ha ha, that's because you don't know your grandpa. This is an old man who protects his shortcomings to the extreme. Zulu on the sign laughed when she heard it. Her words also made the other ants laugh. It seems that Zhao Yuanyang's ability to protect his shortcomings should have been proven, but when you think about it, it is indeed correct. Let's not talk about anything else. Just look at Zhao Yuanyang's hearing that Zhao Yu is going to be kidnapped, and he will give an order directly. The top masters of the entire East Land will all gather in Fengcheng and completely seal off Fengcheng. Just looking at this domineering and protective power, Zumu probably understands it. Chapter 148. Zumu concentrates on special training. Okay, Zumu, we all have our own work to do. You can stay with your elder sister for the rest of the time and let her guide you in your pre-match preparations. Zulaner smiled and patted Zumu's shoulder. She originally wanted to touch Zumu's head, but because of her height, she had to settle for the second best and chose to pat Zumu's shoulder. There was no way. Zulaner was the shortest of the 7 ants, but although she was not tall enough, Zulaner also had her own uniqueness. That is the murder weapon. This thing requires talent. Some people will never be able to reach the feeling of driving 80 miles per hour in their entire lives. And Zulaner, it is the legendary 120 miles per hour. Book friends who don't understand, please read the comments, and someone big enough can explain it. After sending the 6 ants away, Zhu Hong took Zumu for a walk in the yard. Let's go to the secret realm outside Qincheng later. Bring enough food. We will train in the secret realm within this month, then spend the rest of the time in the training room to consolidate. If there is no experience card, the strongest of Zumu's elves is Greninja. After the transformation, he can have the strength of a mid-level master, and he can fight against the peak master. But this strength is definitely not enough in front of Zhu Hong, the invincible strongman. Let alone, just look at the strength of Zhu Hong's team of elves and the strength of each leader. Zumu is definitely not a match for Zhu Hong. Therefore, Zhu Hong's guidance is still very important to Zumu. Okay, listen to the arrangement of my aunt. Zumu subconsciously felt a little flustered when he heard about going to the secret realm, but thinking of the big thing he had just encountered, even the mysterious totem ran out. He shouldn't encounter any dangerous things in Qincheng again, so he smiled and agreed. Of course, if nothing unexpected happens, there will definitely be an accident. The secrets outside Qincheng are a small secret in mountains and rivers. Wind and Sunny, the 2 good brothers of the villain panda, the frozen bears and the circles of the bears were stunned together. Zhu Hong is beside Zumu, all irritability and wild convergence. Gently like water, Zumu often tells himself, "This is a sister-in-law, dear, dear." Okay, everyone come out. Zumu released all 8 of his current Pokémon, except for Celebi, who was still in egg form. Cool, I'm Greninja, meeting the princess. Zumu finally understood at this time that Greninja had been referring to Zukinkin as the little princess. Sure enough, this guy knows a lot of things, but he just doesn't say them. Woo woo, hello, Aunt Zumu. Dragonite made a gentleman's salute and greeted her properly. Charizard stood at the end, and after seeing that Greninja officially confirmed Zuhong's identity, he walked up with a swagger. Roar, my name is Charizard. The next one was Arceus. After the little guy came out, he first skillfully took out a piece of chocolate from Zumu's pocket. After swallowing it in one gulp, he said, "Hello, Aunt Zumu, I am Arceus." Immediately afterwards, Lugia also greeted Zuhong with telepathy, and then lay on Zumu's back as usual, motionless. If you don't know, you would think that this little Lugia is a doll. Bulbasaur's eyes lit up, and he looked at Zuhong excitedly, and was about to rush into Zuhong's arms and rub against her. At the critical moment, Zuhong's flamingo took the initiative to appear and kicked the pervert away. Ha, this Bulbasaur is a bit strange, and you don't have to care. Zumu stepped forward to explain, and then picked up the kicked Bulbasaur. This is my dear aunt, just like Sirona. They are all my relatives. You can't take advantage of them, understand? Zumu's attitude did not seem to be a reprimand, but rather unusually gentle. But it was precisely this gentleness that made Bulbasaur shudder and nodded in fear. I know, I will never dare to do it again. Seeing that this guy was obedient, Zumu put him down and looked at Snorlax. Snorlax saw that it was his turn, and he opened his mouth and hugged Zumu directly. Snorlax, hello, Aunt Zumu, I'm Snorlax. Zumu, who was picked up by Snorlax, held his forehead helplessly. Forget it. What bad intentions could Snorlax have? He just wanted to hug him. After the elves introduced themselves one by one, Zumu set his sights on the King of Leaf. This golden King of Leaf has a different fur color and characteristics from the normal King of Leaf. Hello, King of Leaf, I'm Zumu. Without caring whether such words would arouse the suspicion of his aunt, Zumu directly and generously negotiated with the King of Leaf for the first meeting. Hello, Zumu, it's our first meeting, please take care of me. The King of Leaf said something that didn't match his body size, and the gentleness in his words made Zumu stunned. Could it be another academic bully? Then I will be your trainer from now on. King of Leaf, please take care of me, Zumu said, putting his hand on King of Leaf's shoulder. King of Leaf smiled gently, as if he did not reject Zumu's touch. Good personality? Zumu was a little surprised, but did not say much. After all, this was just the first meeting. After getting along for a long time, he would naturally know what kind of Pokémon King of Leaf's personality is. To be honest, Zumu really hopes to have a Pokémon with a normal personality in his team now. However, Zumu seems to have no idea what normal means now. What is the standard of normal? If you ask Zumu, Zumu doesn't know either. Okay, since we have seen it all, let's set off and find the Lord Villain Panda and his 2 brothers, Zuhong said, leading the way with Flame Chicken. Zumu hurriedly followed, looking forward to what will happen next. After all, the system has not issued any tasks yet, so there shouldn't be any accidents. Chapter 149. Poor Sandbag 3 Bears. Accidents are always reasonable only when they come unexpectedly. When Zumu and his aunt and nephew Zuhong found the Valley Lord, the Villain Panda, everything seemed so logical. Hooray! Humans, you are invading my territory. What are you doing? The Villain Panda was enjoying the honey of 3 bees with his 2 brothers, but unexpectedly 2 humans suddenly broke in. The Villain Panda, who was already in a bad mood, immediately became irritable. Nothing, I just want to fight you, Zumu said with a smile, calling out 3 elves. Charizard, you go fight the Villain Panda, then the King of Leaf. This Circle Bear is your opponent. Finally, Snorlax, you fight the Tundra Bear. No problem. Compared with the Villain Panda, the Circle Bear and the Tundra Bear are not that strong. One is at the early stage of the Master, and the other is at the peak of the King. Of course, the king of leave is okay. After all, he is at the peak of the king, and it should not be a problem to fight the circle bear at the early stage of the master. After all, there is a trainer bonus, and the difference of a small realm is not a big problem. But Snorlax is more in danger here. Snorlax's strength is only the pseudo-king mid-stage. At present, if Snorlax wants to confront this peak king tundra bear head-on, he still needs certain tactics. Enough of small talk. The next is the first battle of the day, the villain panda versus Charizard. The current Charizard is already the strength of the late king, and with the Mega Evolution, it can just reach the early master. The author desperately wants to prove that the power system has not collapsed. Roar. You black and white fat man are my opponent? As usual, the opening trash talk is presented. I saw Charizard scratching his nose with his left hand, pointing with his right hand disdainfully, looking at the villain panda and asked arrogantly. The villain panda was a little confused. You come to my territory, and you still want to open your mouth to spray me? You are really a Charizard. You will die if you don't spray people, right? Whore. Asshole, you are looking for death. Wild Pokémon without trainers are naturally at a disadvantage when it comes to trash talking. In less than 2 sentences, the villain panda got anxious. Greninja on the side shouted disdainfully, "Cool, what about the Lord? Are you anxious now?" "Nothing, good fellow, you are fighting one-on-one, and you even brought an assistant? What? You are still short of a player to finish off the trash talk. Hooray, you are all going to die. Watch me deal with this annoying Charizard first." The villain panda couldn't stand it anymore, and directly used a bear charge to kill Charizard. Charizard smiled triumphantly. This is exactly what he wanted. Charizard, Mega Evolve. Seeing this, Zumu smiled helplessly. Nowadays, Pokémon know that they have no advantage, so they create their own advantage. First break the opponent's mentality at the beginning, and then directly strengthen and kill. How should I put it? Why do I feel that my role as a trainer is to help them evolve? Roar. The white light dissipated, and Charizard X made a domineering appearance. Charizard, avoid his billion-ton impact first, fly up and use Tailwind. Zumu's strengthening tactics are not just Dragon Dance. It is the kingly way to take advantage of all favorable situations to strengthen yourself all the time. Tailwind is indeed not as exciting as Dragon Dance, nor as aggressive as Gunfire Charge. But Tailwind can be used by the way when Charizard flies into the air. It is said that freeloading is the most fragrant. Who would choose not to have such a good thing that can speed up one level at will? This is the rigor of Zumu's tactics. Next, Gunfire Charge. If you are not as strong as your opponent, then speed up first. As long as you have the speed advantage and stay flexible, you can continuously consume the opponent's physical strength, making the opponent unable to fight, unable to retreat, and uncomfortable to death. It is exactly in line with the saying, when the enemy advances, I retreat, and when the enemy is tired, I attack. Seeing that Charizard wanted to counterattack while he was in a stiff state, the villain panda smiled triumphantly. I am also a master-level Lord Elf after all. Do you really think I don't have any special means? The side effects of the billion-ton impact, can't they be overcome with hard work? With his big mouth wide open, the villain panda was ready to take advantage of the moment when Charizard was close to him and bite him to pieces. He bit him so hard that he was unrecognizable and couldn't take care of himself. However, the villain panda laughed, and Zumu laughed too. Charizard, Smoke Charge up, and convert it to Yen Fan, and use protection when you get close. Zumu's operation made the villain panda dumbfounded. He was about to bite Charizard, but this guy actually flew away from his head, turned around in the air, and then came back. No matter what, since you dare to come down, I will bite you to death, bite you so hard that you don't even recognize you. The irritable villain panda had long lost his mind and only wanted to bite Charizard to death. Then, when he was hit by Yen Fan, the villain panda endured the pain and smiled triumphantly. He bit down fiercely. Bang! Listen the sound of broken teeth. Charizard was being surrounded by a light green protective shield. The villain panda had been preparing to bite it and bit it directly on the protective shield. Crack! As the light green protective shield shattered, the villain panda felt a sharp pain in his teeth. Hoo hoo! Damn it! I'm going to kill you! Roaring to the sky, With a roar, the villain panda was about to hug Charizard with his backhand, not giving him the chance to fly into the sky. Unfortunately, he was wrong after all. Zumu never planned to let Charizard fly directly into the sky after using the protection. Charizard, Earth Throw. As Charizard's signature stunt, Earth Throw is a classic among classics. Charizard didn't say anything and picked up the villain panda directly, preparing to circle in the air. Hoo, you're looking for death. Seeing Charizard hugging him with his backhand, the villain panda laughed again and opened his mouth to bite again. Unfortunately, he laughed, and Zumu laughed too. Charizard, let go, give up using Earth Drop, Dragon Star Swarm. Just as the villain panda was about to bite Charizard's shoulder, Charizard suddenly let go. At a height of dozens of meters, the villain panda was suddenly thrown down by Charizard, and panicked at that time. You don't follow martial ethics, just throw it away. Dozens of meters away. Pandas can't fly, what can the panda do? Zumu looked at the panicked villain panda in the air and laughed out loud at that time. Silly panda, who told you that Earth Drop can't be stopped? Charizard, Dragon Star Swarm, directly use Dragon Dance, Continuous Dance, and then use Evil Flame Dragon to KO him. Zumu ordered, and Charizard roared. Dragon Star Swarm is ready, launch. Boom, boom. After a violent explosion, the villain panda dragged his body in pain and stood up, ready to seek revenge on Charizard. But he saw a ball of purple fire dragon slowly forming in the air, approaching him. Chapter 150. I tricked this bear into becoming lame. When the villain panda fell in the raging sea of fire, to be honest, the first reaction of the circle bear and the tundra bear was to put down the honey and run away. Unfortunately, Zuhong and Zumu's other elves directly watched them. Want to run? Dream on. Koga Ninja was even worse, directly using a road-blocking move to block the retreat of the two bears. Next, Circle Bear, come by yourself. Zumu saw that the villain panda had completely lost its fighting power, and after thinking about it, he still did not subdue it. It's not that Zumu doesn't like this guy, this silly and cute big iron beast. How could Zumu not like it? The main reason is that this guy's potential was originally very high, but because he lives in the wild, he has various hidden injuries in his body, and coupled with irregular training, his strength is only at the peak level of a master throughout his life. For now, Zumu subduing him is indeed useful, but in the future, I'm afraid this silly big guy can only be reduced to guarding the house. Of course, Zumu does have a system, and the system can indeed solve the problem that the villain panda's potential has reached its limit. But, this guy would probably prefer to live here, free and unfettered. Zumu didn't think about it anymore. Unless someone took the initiative to follow Zumu, Zumu didn't want to conquer any more elves. The current team is already very difficult to manage, so it's almost enough. If there are more, the author's brain is not enough. Well, no more small talk. The next battle, Circle Bear vs King of Leaf. Hehe, I am the strength of an early master, you gorilla, why don't you just forget it? Seeing that he couldn't escape, Circle Bear decided to attack with words first to make his opponent lose the will to fight. He madly beat his chest with both hands, wanting to let King of Leaf see his strength and win without fighting. However, King of Leaf looked at Circle Bear who was beating his chest to show his strength, and smiled helplessly. Whoa, your way of beating your chest is wrong. I will teach you. As he said, King of Leaf stood up on his two hind legs and raised his two hands high. Oh, hehe, teacher. What is the second level? The King of Asking for Leave saw that Circle Bear was asking for advice humbly, and he smiled with satisfaction. Whoa, you are a teachable person, so I will tell you about the second level. The second level of beating the chest is like me, being able to assimilate the mountains and forests, and resonate with the earth and mountains. When beating the chest, there will be an earth-shaking effect, and the momentum is huge. Circle Bear was shocked, so that's how it is. Whoa. As for the third level, you can't get it yet, and I can't tell you much. You should just practice the first level first. When you enter my level, I will teach you the third level. Circle Bear heard this and hurriedly asked, teacher, how should I enter the second level, and if I reach your level, how should I find you again? Upon hearing the question from Circle Bear, the King of Leaf said angrily, stupid, when you can reach my level, You can make the earth and mountains resonate, then go out and beat your chest directly, and I will be able to sense it, right? Zuhan couldn't hear the conversation between the two elves, but just thought that the two guys were spitting trash, although it seemed that their state was a little wrong. But Zumu could understand, seeing that the King of Leave has become the teacher of his opponent. He was just a fool. Is this the elf produced by the system? What the hell? This is not the King of Leave. This is asking for a teacher. Circle Bear saw that the King of Leave seemed to be a little unhappy because of his stupidity just now, so he quickly got up and picked up the previous honey, and gave it to the King of Leave happily. The King of Leave ate the honey while looking at the Circle Bear with a face full of expectation. Slowly said, "You guys have some talent, forget it. Then I will give you some pointers. Remember, the first key to beating your chest is not to be afraid of pain. You hit it first, I'll watch and teach you." After the King of Leave said this, Circle Bear didn't doubt him and started hitting it right there. Bang 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 bang. This time, Circle Bear really hit his chest with a fatal blow. Every time the fist hit the chest, he used 100% of his strength, and every punch hit the flesh. Not enough, not enough, try harder. When Circle Bear heard the King of Leave say this, he immediately gritted his teeth and increased his strength. Boom 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 boom. This time, Circle Bear felt that he had really used up all his life's strength. Every time a punch hit his chest, Circle Bear had an urge to vomit blood. However, in front of the master, he couldn't be too embarrassed. He swallowed the blood that he had punched out, and then continued to punch. Seeing that Circle Bear was fine after hitting like this, the King of Leave raised his eyebrows in surprise. This shouldn't be the case. Most elves would have vomited blood if they were hit like this. No, try harder. Remember, don't be afraid of pain. You can still hit harder. Circle Bear was almost at his limit. His mouth was full of blood and his ears were almost deaf. But seeing that the King of Leave seemed to say that his strength was not enough, Circle Bear was completely furious. Then I will use more strength. Smash! Boom 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 boom. Like a meteorite hitting the earth, Circle Bear directly used tile splitting. He hammered his chest madly. Whoa! You have to shout out loud and have momentum. Like me. Circle Bear had almost lost his mind. Seeing the King of Leave say this, he roared at that time. Roar! As he lost his temper, the blood that he could have suppressed spurted out uncontrollably again. Puff! An elegant arc passed through the sky, and Circle Bear fainted to the ground and completely lost consciousness. The King of Leave looked at the Circle Bear on the ground, holding the honey in his hand, and walked back to Zumu calmly. Whoa! Zumu, the mission is completed. This bear was fooled by me. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.